You said that you love winning. What drives you more, the love of winning or the hate of losing?
Maybe equally, maybe both. I don't like losing, and I do like winning.
Say his name and he appears.
This is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Okay, there we go. Greetings and welcome to Winning Tonight. How's everybody doing out there? Hope you're all doing and living well. Yeah, tonight's the night, man. I'm done. I'm out of here. Screw everybody. I got a list of names. I'm taking y'all down. All y'all. All you shit talkers. All you trolls. All you toxic people. I got your names, your full names, your addresses, everything. You're all going down. Telling everybody where you work. I'm done. I'm out. Happy April Fools. I could care less. What's going on, guys? Oh, T-Rex, you did everything wrong. You're first. You're first. Oh, I could tell you some things about T-Rex, guys. You guys want to hear everything about T-Rex? T-Rex got arrested recently. Tax evasion. Yep, got pulled over in his truck. Oh, man, what's up? Muted, I know. See, that was part of the gag, too. But, you know, I just did the traditional streamer acts like they're quitting on April Fool's Day gig. So I can say I did it once. Why not? He's gonna go down. He's gonna go down in a blaze of glory. He did. He did. He did. He was driving back from one of his hose places. And after rocking her world, he's just driving back in his truck. They pulled him over. He's like, screw you. He ran over, like BJ and the Bear, he ran over all their squad cars in his truck and just honked his horn and kept going. Yep, that's what happened. That is what happened. Let's burn everybody tonight. Let's burn them all. I know all your secrets. I don't have you blocked in Discord, Wild Man. I don't know what you got going on, buddy. But I can't help, man. I don't have you blocked. You're not blocked by me or anybody. If it is, I'll check my Discord again. But I see your messages in Discord. So I see them. You just had one today at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. So there's only a few people that have mod status in my Discord, and none of them would do that to you. I assure you of that, sir. But yeah, who you guys want to burn down first? Should we go after the people everybody knows? We're got a full night full of cool, good top news and updates for you. We're gonna do that. I got some really cool things to talk about. A lot of good news topics. As always, when we are beating down the corrupt establishment, there is good news to be had. Also, we'll check out some pressers. I got one with Kid Rock. Yes, Kid Rock was in the Oval Office. And this is going to conflict many musicians out there, which I love. So that'll be awesome. That will be awesome. Let's see. I was also curious how many people who would tune in to see it burn it downstream. I literally put a nuclear bomb on the front of the thumbnail. So we'll see. I think people are kind of used to it by now. I really didn't think I'd get over on that many people. But I can say I did it. There you go. But man, I got the best news. Some of the best news, and it's hilarious. We'll have some fun with it. But this lady here, really knows what she's talking about, and I think people need to hear this again. I love to just clip this one. Actually, hold on a second. Time out. Rewind. I forgot to thank those awesome members in the Winner's Circle. Thank you so much for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. You guys make it happen. You are part of the solution. Thank you so much. Indy, I'm burning it down. I'm burning it all down. That's right. I'm starting with you. I'm just having some fun. It's April Fool's. But thanks for coming by. And you might really like this first piece I'm going to be doing, because it's about health and it's about things they put in our water. So I think you might like this first piece I'm going to be covering. So stick around and check it out. But let me finish thanking those awesome people in the Winner's Circle and make it happen and support us on a monthly basis. You guys are part of the solution, and I really appreciate your support. Big thanks to Shelly Wolfram and Ronnie Jam over on Rumble, who supports on a monthly basis over there. You can too. You can be just like them. It's really easy. You just go over there and do it. And we are broadcasting live tonight, of course, on Rumble, YouTube, and X. And away we go. All right. Oh, it's Scott Hot back then. I haven't seen him in a minute. I hope he's doing all right. I know he was kind of busy. See, I tell you guys, I do think about you. I do think about you. I notice, who's been around, who hasn't. I'm like, oh, I hope they're all right. I hope they're doing okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You hadn't figured that out yet. Yeah. That's why I couldn't get a one of them to come on my show. See, I have tons of dirt on my past stuff. I even blocked a couple of people for saying derogatory shit about wolves. Yeah. Okay. I don't know about that, man, but I understand you. You can figure out what's going on in Discord, man. I know you can do it. All right. So away we go. First story of the evening. This is what I've been hanging on to. I can't wait to show you this. I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but this is the one I literally have been waiting decades for this to happen. Like probably for a long time. Probably one of the longest, oldest topics in my arsenal here. I've been raising awareness about, trying to get people to get active about, because this is so important and it's so wrong. And it looks like it's finally coming to an end. So let me make sure I have this right here. Which one are you on? Tab me. Is that it? No. It's always the one that's not at the top. Really? All the way at the top. Give me a second. I don't know why it does this. Oh, there you go. Just gotta click on it a few times. That's it. Just click on it. Okay. And I see, unfortunately, Timmy's been having Ian back on his show. It's terrible. Anyways, let's go with this one right here, and let's go with Abby. Let's
the
hit
story that you were talking about.
But you could look at Full Measure with Cheryl Atkinson and see an even better story.
Let's pull that up.
There we go.
Excuse me.
So what's the gist of this?
The gist is the court agrees there's overwhelming scientific evidence as to the risks and dangers of fluoride in water.
Yeah.
And the EPA is under an order now to come up with some kind of policy decision.
Get rid of it.
There seems to be no way out. The EPA cannot certify that fluoride is safe in the water. So as a result, they're going to have to likely admit that it's not safe, which will then mean states, communities, cities, and so on can't use it.
So CBS says a federal court in California ruled late Tuesday against the EPA, ordering officials to take action over concerns about potential health risks from currently recommended levels of fluoride in the American drinking water supply. The ruling by D.C. Judge Edward Chen, an appointee of Obama, deals a blow to public health groups in the growing debate about whether the benefits of continuing to add fluoride to the water outweighs the risk. I am confused. Are they saying public health groups want fluoride in water?
Yes, because they're bought out by the fluoride industry, which is a very well-funded and orchestrated propaganda campaign that began when it was discovered that fluoride was a byproduct of industrial processes and was too dangerous to dispose of in the ground. I think we're talking 1920s, 1930s. Industries were going to have to figure out a way, and it was going to be expensive to dispose of the dangerous fluoride. And instead, they found a way to market it to communities as something that we should put they're supposed to keep it out of the environment, but then they sold it to communities as a way to put it in your environment and in your food and in your water and make your teeth better. And the evidence was dubious, and they're
Hold on. Let me help you out there, lady. I don't know you, but let me help you out. That was Edward Bernays that was behind that propaganda campaign to convince people that chemical runoff, chemical waste from lead manufacturing, and eventually other things, originally lead, right? Working with the lead industry, was somehow good for your teeth. And that was the thing. And then what they did was they co-opted dentists. There's a great documentary out there. I've covered it on Old School Watch Party Sunday. It's in that folder here on the channel. And that's the one you can actually watch on YouTube as well, called The Fluoride Deception. It is the everything you need to know about the topic book and documentary on the subject and who was behind all the dubiousness that it was. Just to fill in the gap, if you need a buzzword there, if you'd use Edward Bernays, it would have hit a little harder, lady. But you're doing a good job, so let me let you continue.
Questions over whether the studies actually even showed that was the case. But there's no doubt now. I think if you look at it, the overwhelming body of science, particularly the independent science that's not connected to industry, shows there's all kinds of health risks with putting this medication in water.
Stop. There's no constitutionality into forced medicating anyone. Forced medication is should be unconstitutional and illegal. So the idea that we could agree upon as a unanimous majority, as a unanimous population, that medicating people in ways that they cannot prevent it from happening, be it water, be it food, be it whatever, is highly illegal. And this is I guess maybe they would try to push back on, well, there's vitamins in food. Well, yeah, there's vitamins in food. Well, they add vitamins to food. Well, you can choose to buy that or not. Vitamins added. Maybe you put that on the list, right? And see people, I don't want your vitamins, I want other vitamins. I don't know. We can do things about that. We can't do things about when everybody's drinking water everywhere. It has chemical runoff dumped into it, and they say it's good for you. And when I've seen a steady decline in all kinds of things like fertility and IQ and other things, and it's known to do these things. Like, it's known to lower the IQs of people. I said, well, that's not enough, right? Well, no, it is. When it's in everything, it's the slow kill. It's a slow oil, right? So, yeah, forced medication, anything that ever meets that criteria should be immediately stopped.
And people are, used to be a time when we weren't getting a lot of fluoride, but now it's in toothpaste. It's in your drinks that you get.
It's funny that she's holding up. I wonder what kind of drink she has. You guys see that? She's holding up a Chick-fil-A cup. Probably has fluoride in it. I mean, I don't know what she's drinking, but I'm pretty sure they don't filter their sweet iced tea water. That's why I stopped getting it from there a long time ago. And their lemonade and anything else that comes out of their damn fountain, it's probably got fluoride in it. It's probably a fluoride fountain right there. So it's not just the drinking water has to come out of it. It has to come out of everything that's making anything with water. So, I mean, hopefully that covers it. But listen to this other story.
Because that's fluoridated. Now it's in the water. And if you get too much of this medicine / drug, and think about children, little babies, and so on, it can have all kinds of.
It can affect
Is she an actor? An actress? She looks like she reminds me of an actress of somebody. I don't know who that is. What's her name? But anyways, I appreciate what she's saying and what she's doing, and she's bringing it up and raising awareness about it. Sherry Atkinson, is she an actress? She looks like she's been on TV before. I don't know who she is. Is she behind the Atkinson diet? I don't know, but I guarantee you there's fluoride in that cup.
So we've got this from SF Chronicle. This California city is fluoride free. Dentists there worry about the trend spreading.
That is such propaganda right there. See, they go right back to it, don't they? They go right back to the well, don't they? The fluoridated well, because this is the way that they did it before. Oh my God, the dentists are all upset now. Oh, don't take it out of the water. What, you're going to get some more work out of it if it's what is good for everybody as you say it is, but it's not. I mean, literally not. If it was so great, why would anybody need to go to the dentist, right? I don't know.
I've always loved this because, like, I have fluoride in my toothpaste. I don't need to eat it.
Yeah, you don't need to put it in your toothpaste either, Timmy.
You don't.
right?
You're
In
supposed
fact,
to not
there's
eat
a
it.
question
So-
as to whether you're not supposed to eat it and
Ian,
how
don't
bad
talk.
it may be when you're drinking it, how much benefit that can be to your
Why
teeth.
would
Is it-
dentists
we're-
work?
Yeah, because your gums never absorb anything. They never do. Like, oh, yeah, I'm just brushing my teeth with it. I'm not eating it. It's not going into my bloodstream via my gums. No, not at all. Because I'm using a toothbrush and spitting it out, and definitely doesn't get absorbed by the mucous membrane inside my mouth, which absorbs everything instantly. No. Doesn't do that.
Real, here's a story from
I know,
Reuters.
that's what I was thinking.
EPA must address fluoridated water's risk to children's IQs.
But we're getting rid of
US
it,
judge
guys.
rules.
We're getting rid
So
of
I
it.
got a story for you guys. I had a friend 20 years ago. His sister had a kid, and I walked
How
through his
about that?
kitchen, and it had nursery water
Oh,
with added
listen to
fluoride.
this. Listen
And
to
I
this.
said, why are you giving fluoride water to the baby? And they said, it's nursery water. It's for babies. And I said, no, you don't give, babies don't have teeth. And they're like, no, babies need fluoride. And I was like, no, they don't. They don't need fluoride. She didn't believe me. So I just Googled fluoride babies, and everything that popped up was a warning. Do
It
not give
does.
your baby fluoride. And I said, why are they giving fluoridated water to babies? This is currently right now.
Right?
They sell this in stores. Extra fluoride water for babies.
Yeah, well, why would you do that? Oh, it's going to help their developing teeth, right? What? The teeth that they're developing, they're going to lose all those anyways. Oh, it's going to help the other ones, right? They're not even there yet. Oh, give your baby the fluoride.
Babies don't have teeth.
Should not be legal.
Is it just pure profit, or what did you find?
Why don't you do it? Ian, shut up. Why don't you ever do any of your own work, man?
Well, it's a propaganda campaign that's bolstered by the industry that then teaches dentists who some of them may not know better because like med schools, the dental schools are conflicted by
giving
industry
Ian a hard time.
teachings and so on. And
You know
it's
nothing.
just become this thing. But again, if you look, there's quite a body of science that undercuts any notion that this is something where the benefits outweigh the risks. And finally, now that a court has agreed, an important federal court, the EPA has to make a decision. And this was said before Trump took office, but now with Trump in office, there's a chance they may do the logical scientific thing.
It's important to know that fluoride, as far as I know, and this could be wrong, but what I've
is.
learned is it is good. Well, good maybe for the enamel, for tooth enamel. It mineralizes enamel.
If you're an adult and you have teeth and you're brushing your teeth with it, you spit it out and don't swallow
But
it.
even then, it gets on your gums and goes into the bloodstream through the gum.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
Tim.
that's toxin.
Oh my
But
God, Ian got one over on Tim. Holy shit, clip it. Ian got one over on Tim. Tim didn't know something that Ian did. Holy shit.
If you would consider it
It
toxic,
must be April Fool's.
Don't
a
swallow
lot of things are. Okay. You put
He's going to try to get out of it. Dude, you can buy toothpaste without fluoride.
a
in it.
lot of things on your skin that you don't
Yeah,
actually
paint.
want to eat.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't put paint on your skin, but there are chemicals you can put in your skin you can't eat. Right? You're not going to eat
Yes.
deodorant.
Correct. You don't get much. If you spit it out, you're not getting it all. You don't want to.
But how about this? They outlawed red dye number 3 in cosmetics a couple decades ago, but left it in the food under a technicality where they
The
just
hell?
didn't process that part of
Read.
the FDA said, we don't have enough
Read.
money
Sir
to
Frank
move on that, to
Otter.
look at it.
Well, you saw that RFK Jr. wants to get rid of the grass exceptions, the generally recognized as safe.
Oh,
And
yes.
the quality
So
too, Frank.
we talked about
Quality.
propylene glycol, which is used as I forgot what the word is, but it's to make food seem moist. It's this jelly garbage. It's an antifreeze. They say it's fine to eat, so they put it in. If you go to a gas station to buy a bakery product, it's probably got propylene glycol in it. It simulates moistness because otherwise they dry out. Then there's trisodium phosphate. Some guy had a viral video where he said this is in Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but if you look at the bag of trisodium phosphate, it says harmful if ingested. So how is it in our food? Also generally recognized as safe. RFK Jr. says he's going to get rid of this exception and that anybody who wants to put any kind of chemicals in food has to get them tested for the health effects on humans.
I mean, it makes sense. I don't understand. It's one of the most important things that we could be doing.
Oh,
We
I
fe-
did
it's what we're
not
feeding
even
our
hook this
kids.
up yet.
I'm older than you guys.
I wonder
But
what
as a
seems
kid,
like
we
it's
used to read
dragging.
cereal boxes
Is
in the
this
morning
over yet?
because there was nothing else to do. We didn't have, phones. And we would read the ingredients and we'd quiz each other. And I always saw
All right, that's good. We got the idea. I don't think there's anything more to this that I thought we needed to go over. But the good news is that this is going to have like a cascading effect, right? And what we can't allow it to do is to go back to where it once was. So those with information and knowledge about the original propaganda campaign, now is your time to stand up and have a conversation with people about it. And my points are always, okay, origins, who benefits, and the liberty aspect of being force medicated, right? So if you hit all those points, you usually do a pretty good job. The people will default to the dentist thing. That's why the propaganda campaign, the information in the fluoride deception, you can easily kind of walk that in for them. And when they realize, wow, okay, these dentists actually weren't part of some kind of scientific study, they were actually bought and paid for and told to say this. And then of course, because they use fluoride in dental work, right? And dental care in their offices. Well, why not just throw it in all the water so it gets all in all your organs and stuff? It just it just knows how to go straight for the enamel in your teeth and it does nothing else to you. Well, seems like there's been plenty of evidence that nobody wants to talk about who's making money off this or benefiting from it. That it does have other side effects that makes it not right for consumption. It even says on the toothpaste tube, do not swallow. And sodium fluoride has been used in rat poisons. And so there's a lot of things out there you can show people to get them on board with this. But the idea is like this: you'll hit one of the things with them if you know all three points to hit. Right? If you can't get them on the whole your dentist thing and the propaganda campaign, just remind them about their forced medication. Don't tell them what to do with my body, kind of thing. Where how would you like it if they just force medicated you for things and this is just one thing and another? Well, it's just one thing, but it's actually you're being forced to do it. You get it? You don't really have your freedom. It's not your choice. Where's your freedom of choice? Where's the choice that you want in your life about how you're gonna tell people not to tell you what to do with your body, right? Well, they're telling you what to do every day. Every time you turn that faucet on, you boil that water and you pour it in your coffee pot. I'm telling you, man, the trick to a good cup of coffee is water quality. Like if you get your water out of the sink, right, and you've been making your coffee with sink water all this time, you don't know what you're missing. Don't do it. The very least, you don't have a gravity filter. That's cool. Just get bottled water and use that. And look and taste the difference. The difference is incredible. Like I go full 9 yards, man. I go, and I don't drink that much coffee. I go, 99% gravity filtered water, pure organic coffee, which some people think you don't need to have, but I do it anyways because it's a little bit more insurance. Organic sugar, organic creamer, right? When I use those things. And sometimes I put some cacao powder in there. Just give it a little chocolatey flavor. That's pretty good too. You might want to try that. That's pretty good. And cacao powder is good for your heart and your circulation. So you might just like that. Fluoride is naturally found in water as well, but it's low levels that when they add it, well, they're not really adding like when you imagine what they're adding, right? People think like there's some scientific, dental school fluoride truck that pulls up because, okay, we're here to make sure everybody's teeth are nice, That's not what they're adding. They're adding chemical runoff, hydrofluoric acid from chemical runoff made in what was lead plants, and then it went on to be like plastics or something like that. I got to refresh myself on what it became. But instead of paying to dispose of this runoff chemical, right? They convinced everyone that it was good for your teeth fluoride. So we should just dump it in the water. Don't that way we can make money instead of lose money. See, now we're making money off our chemical runoff instead of losing it trying to dispose of this nasty shit. Instead, you're the disposal unit. You get to be the disposal unit so it's like comparing the two is almost unfair. It's almost unfair. But if you are going to compare the two, you got to remember it says right on the toothpaste label, do not swallow this. It's because of the fluoride in it, right? Do not swallow this. If you do, contact your poison control center. Has anybody ever had to contact a poison control center before? Just curious. I think I remember calling the poison control center one time when I was a kid just to see what it was, but I was really young and bored. And that's back when the film was on the wall. So, and you found it was in the phone book. The poison control center sounds pretty cool. What is that poison control center about? Has anybody ever had to call the poison control center? Maybe we should call them one time. You guys want to call the poison control center and see what they're doing? Do they still have them? Shelly likes to mix mushroom coffee with her with her chocolate protein powder, and very yummy. I don't need creamer anymore. Her life has never been better. All right, and yes, get some better water in there, and you'll even improve it to beyond belief. It'll be the best thing you've ever done in your life. I'm telling you. You'll be like, all these other things I thought were accomplishments weren't. When I started putting good water into my coffee, life changed for the better. All right. So to pick up on a story from last night, and if you didn't catch the end of Unrig the Game over on Rumble, it's one of those nights. It's one of those nights. We're burning it down. See, I've been times but I worked for a specialty chemical company, and you end up calling them a lot when things break down. Oh, you have called the Poison Control Center? Cool. Good. Now I know somebody who's done it. Awesome. So at the end of last night, we had a great bonus content segment on Unrig the Game. After the reading was done, it's over on Rumble if you want to check it out. We talked about deliberate managed decline, right? And what's been going on in all Western Anglo-Saxonish Christianist countries, right? And how this is all happening at the same time. The methodologies used. Sorry, I keep blinking there. I just got to remember to back up a little bit. I got big screens, man. I got big screens. Hard to stream with them, but they look good when I do other things. So, this is a multi kind of setup. So it's streaming, it's work, it's all kinds of things like that. So I make it work. One day, maybe I'll have some kind of fancy studio, a fancy bedroom studio like other people. But no, I have this is just what I got. So we make it work. It's outer space, y'all. So anyways, yeah, we had a great closing segment on that. And then I talked about like how, all kinds of the things that have been done to us here are happening in other places, but because we don't have they don't have the same person running the show that we do, and they don't have that constitution with inalienable rights, that Bill of Rights that we have. It's more difficult for these other leaders that are trying to battle the establishment, these other anti-establishment leaders and the world to make a difference. And when they do start to make a difference, they do start to make inroads over there in other countries, that lawfare starts to work. And we also talked about how they used immigration in different countries and how they've used propaganda and other things like that are very similar. And this end segment compared and contrast with ancient Rome. The decline of Rome happened over thousands of years, didn't happen overnight. And how they managed decline and knowing it was coming, and they couldn't stop it. They had a broken machine, and basically like, okay, well, this thing's broke. It's going to be gone anyways, right? So we're going to manage the decline. And the people who were part of the managing the decline stuff was happy to let things rot. However, while they're doing that, they're raking in the dough and they're piling it away, right? They're building their own wealth, generational wealth, and protection within that, right? And so they are. That's what you start to see the scams like USAID and money laundering and all the things people are doing out there these days. What is it's building to a bigger picture of, right? And so that's what I was talking about. But I also talked about, I did a little addendum to that about Marine Le Pen getting sentenced to jail time and not allowed to run the elections. She is the front runner for the French.
Okay, gang, really quick before we jump into
it's not just her, it's other things around the world. I want to briefly go into this piece right here just to kind of get Trump's comments on it. And this is from Mr. Turley. And let me talk to the crowd here real quick before I get into it. But I can go ahead and pull this up on the screen. There we go. All right. So that's where we're going. Okay, we're talking about that. Oddly, poison control has every rose has its thorn on their whole music. No way. Get out of here. There's not just one poison control. Then there are poison controls in every state. Are you in Texas, maybe? Let's see. I didn't eat the whole bottle. Okay, stop. Let's see. I'm getting like I do that, and I'm like, okay, that's a personal conversation. I don't read every comment because you guys are allowed to talk to each other, and I want you to talk to each other. So I'm not gonna talk about the one-to-one conversations, right? See, I remember a comedian calling 800 number on lip balm. He had her going, lips swollen. It ended with a couple gunshot sounds, him saying lips exploded, and her saying, "Is this is a serious line?" Oh, okay. No, I get it. I know it's just about baby aspirin. I just don't have I just like sometimes I click on things and I think they're one thing. I'm like, oh, that's personal conversation. So, hey, Libby, how's it going? Yeah, let's burn it down. Burn it down. Burning it down. If you want me to burn down now, I'm letting it all hang out. Everybody must go. Or it's April Fool's. Take your pick. I don't know. I just wanted to be that guy, the one that join the club of all the streamers who have ever done a this is my last show gag on April Fool's, because almost every year there's a batch of people that do it. And it's always interesting to see if people will fall for it. If anything, maybe get some new people to the show. I don't know. But I thought the thumbnail looked kind of cool with the big orange mushroom cloud. All right, let's see. Comments.
And I can't wait to see you there.
Marine Le Pen, the far-right leader, got convicted in court and is now banned from running for office for 5 years. Do you have a comment about
That's
that?
a big deal. That's a very big deal. I know all about it, and a lot of people thought she wasn't going to be convicted of anything, and I don't know if it means conviction, but she was banned for running for 5 years, and she's the leading candidate. That sounds like this country. That sounds very much like this country.
That's President Trump reacting to news that Marine Le Pen, who many would call France's Trump, has been banned from running for president in the next election. And Trump isn't alone. Leaders from around the world are up in arms against France and the concerning lawfare.
A lot of backlash.
Where courts are increasingly interfering in European elections. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, and we're going to see the latest on the massive worldwide backlash against the French court that banned Marine Le Pen from running. But first, gang, let's give a huge people. As many of you know, yesterday, Le Pen, the head of the Patriot Party known as National Rally and the front runner in their next presidential election, was found guilty of embezzlement by a French court and banned from running
I want to
for
catch
office.
this part too.
Germany's entire defense.
The French court is actually fulfilling precisely what J.D. Vance warned about just weeks ago. Check it out.
Germany's entire defense is subsidized by the American taxpayer. There are thousands upon thousands of American troops in Germany today. Do you think that the American taxpayer is going to stand for that if you get thrown in jail in Germany for posting a mean tweet? Of course they're not, right? So the point that I try to make to our European friends, and I think that they're our friends, I believe that, I know President Trump does, is that friendship is based on shared values. You do not have shared values if you're jailing people for saying we should close down our border. You don't have shared values if you cancel elections because you don't like the result, and that happened in Romania. You do not have shared values if you're so afraid of your own people that you silence them and shut them up.
And yet, astonishingly, right on cue, the liberal left, if
Maddie,
you can believe it, is actually trying to gaslight their dwindling audience that such lawfare tactics are perfectly compatible with democratic norms.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this headline. If this isn't Orwellian, I frankly don't know what is. Look at this. Quote, Marine Le Pen verdict represents an effort to make democracy better in France. I mean, you can't make this stuff banning.
Yeah. And do you remember after 2020, the Time magazine article, how the Democrats fortified the election by rigging the hell out of it and changing all the rules and the laws, and then not hearing any complaints or pushback about it. And if you did, you get, canceled and run over and run out of town. Those power hungry, bloodthirsty, corrupt motherfuckers that did that. Remember that? And they put it in Time magazine. They called it fortification. We fortified it just to make sure. Right? Yeah, you did. Dark Lotus, what's up? Good to see you. How you doing? How you doing? All right. Yeah, and changing definitions of words. Oh yeah. Well, they control of language is a god level power, man. It's god level power. Yeah, let's make sure that there's only one option because that always makes a democratic process better. Then no one has to think about which one to vote for. Yep, that's what they wanted. Hey, Jacob Castro, what's up, my friend? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Awesome to see everybody. Okay, so yeah, that's that part, and it's like a saying. It's kind of weird that it's just the similarities, right? It's trying to kind of bring the the world in with what's going on, right? It's not just us that they're after everybody. When I say the establishment's it's the establishment against everybody. I mean everybody. Like we have our own problems here. Canada has their own problems here. Slotty Pie, what's going on? How you doing? Australia, UK, France, Germany, countries, in every country there's a battle, right? We have ours here. We're happen to be fortunate as the United States of America. We have a constitution and bill of rights, and we have a Trump. So we have to be very fortunate. And we get to lead the way once again to tackle this. Now, I think this is where I think we have to. Let's just hear this one out a little bit longer because I'll skip ahead. But I'm trying to remember if this was the one where he made the point about the changing time, like things that are changing over, or if it was that other one I saw that might be next Monday when I show it. Let me see.
A candidate, and not just any candidate, the front runner, democracy and redemptive democracy. So redemptive is a parody of repulsiveness from an aristocratic presidential.
Now, this is the thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, here we go. This is a really, I like the way he put this. Like, it's worth analyzing this take that he has. I'll tell you why. He's going to bring up some things we don't normally hear people talking about. And he's talking about this major shift that's happening. And he has a really good take on it, a good, kind of a feel-good take on it. Is Ozawi13 here? Ozawi, what's up? How you doing? I saw Slotty Pie mentioning your name. I hadn't said hello to you. Hello. And Paul Farrell, what's going on? Paul Farrell. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, Paul. Awesome to see you. Awesome. Paul, one of our rewatchers, man. It's good to know the rewatchers too. I'm glad when rewatchers come by and say hello, let me know who they are, because they don't get to be here during the show, but I do like to know you. I'll get to your Giza Plateau nonsense comment here in a second, Thomas, because that'll give me a good segue for talking about tomorrow night.
The front runner from a presidential election is, according to this borderline illiterate, an effort to make democracy better.
Got it.
France is making democracy great again by banning candidates, by deliberately interfering in who French citizens can or cannot vote for.
Yeah, that works, right?
That is democracy, the rule of the demos, the people. This is absolutely absurd.
He said the rules of the demos, the people. Did you guys know you're demos? You're demos.
Parody of repulsiveness from an aristocratic elite who have completely lost the plot.
Okay, now this is where I think, even though we agree on a lot of things, I don't know that they've lost the plot, but I think they know. I think at some level, there's, like I said, there's some cognizance to it, and trying to slowly, generationally move people into a different place. They've understood in the past, this isn't the days of soldiers and armies, conquering kingdoms, and they're certainly not going to conquer our kingdom like that. So they have to take, it's the aid of superpowers and intelligence, and they're going to have to take a different route. But we talk more about that a lot this week and next week as well. But here we go. Let's finish this.
Here's what's really going on here. It's long been recognized that the ruling class uses the term democracy in a very different way than we, the people, use it, which of course is.
Yeah, I've been saying that forever, right? Just remember, when they say it, they mean something different.
Ironic, given that democracy means the rule of the people. But scholars make a distinction between what they call pragmatic democracy and redemptive democracy. So
I didn't know about these two different. See, I always just saw it, right? I always just saw that they meant something different when they said it, the way that they would use it, and how out of context it was used. But there actually are terminologies for this.
Democracy involves true democracy, the democracy of the people, the demos. And it's considered in many ways a restorative democracy. So that's why they call it redemptive, in that it involves overcoming all these obstacles that constantly rise up to stand in the way of enacting the values, interests, and concerns of the people. So in other words, there are times when a majority has to rise up and restore a rule that honors and enacts the values, interests, and concerns.
And the thing about it is that the establishment useful idiots, right? The ones that are behind the first veil that bow the establishment narrative, they hear them use democracy in a certain way, and they hear Marxists use it in a certain way, and they start to use it in that way. And a lot of times they don't even know, they can't even really define it. They don't understand what it means, or they just kind of use it out of context. So they begin to use it the wrong way too, right? Which turns people off outside of that influence from if ever wanted to use or like the word, right? Even though we should take it back.
Of the people, which again is the very definition of democracy, the rule of the demos, the rule of the people. So that's what's called redemptive democracy. That is what we're about. That's what Marine Le Pen is about. That's what all the patriots in France are about. However, our elite, the aristocracy, the political class that infects so much of European and American politics, they are actively attempting to redefine democracy as involving solely what they as the permanent political class want. And that's what scholars call pragmatic democracy. I like to call it crap democracy or anti-democracy. So pragmatic democracy, bottom line, involves the various ways in which the ruling class, so our modern day oligarchs, govern in accordance with their own values, interests, and concerns that are growing increasingly alienated from the values, interests, and concerns of the people, the demos. So
it means that their democracy means the rule of the establishment, not the rule of the people. I'll simplify it for you. That's what they mean. And why they mean that is like they'll go behind this altruistic kind of like mask or veil, right? Where they think, well, because we are the privileged, we are the resourceful, we are the ones, right? We should make decisions for those who can't. And the reason why is because the people will make bad decisions, and we know better. That's the elitism that comes into play there. And when you say you've lost the thing, I don't think they've lost it. I think what maybe Hurley hasn't realized yet is that there's this mind virus called elitism, and they all have it. So that's the way their society is set up, and that's the way everything else that runs through their minds, thoughts, and that's what the education they pass down to their kids and so on, right? They teach them the elitist mindset. And that elitist mindset, when it rules long enough, does infiltrate society on all levels. And you see a lot of the useful idiot left. They are very elitist. And there's the ones that say that they're very tolerant and loving, and it's the other people that have this problem. They're actually super elitist. Like if you don't buy into their bullshit and you don't make a hypocrite out of yourself, then you're out. They'll just and then you'll see what kind of friend they really were the entire time to you. Was that really as close as you thought it was, or did they make it seem close, right? You became useful to them, or something, you did something for them, and when you didn't go along with the program anymore, all of a sudden it's like, oh, you can just I'll just never talk to you again. Oh well, I'm so glad all those memorable times and good times we had together meant something to you. Holy shit, it's scot-free freedom. How's it going? Now we can get started. Had to upgrade and buy a new generator. Good to see you. What you been up to, dude? How have you been? How have you been, man? We were hoping you didn't freeze over the winter. How's it going? Hadn't seen you doing anything online recently, unless I missed it. But we do think about you, brother. We do think about you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well out there. All right. So yeah, that's the thing going on here, right? And I don't think we need to go into this much more, but let me see what he has down here. He kind of goes into this long explanation about what I just said. I think he's talking about I wanted him to talk about the shift.
World. And so the elites have been reduced to cracking down on with world rule. Unfortunately for them, in the end, all of this lawfare is nothing more than a sign of total and complete desperation. As JD said earlier, this lawfare is an admission that the political elite have lost the people.
Yep.
The people are increasingly refusing to go along with the gaslighting of this failed elite. And they're more and more embracing the populist patriot party's all around the world.
All around the world.
And so the elites have been reduced to cracking down on such mass democratic dissent by way of lawfare, by way of generally unelected judges who the elite appoint not to protect the rule of law, but to protect the rule of the elite.
Yeah, to protect their power, wealth, and influence. And anything like Agenda 2030 or any of those guys, that's all moving towards a tighter grip, right? That's their new infrastructure, right? A tighter grip, people will call it. And I guess the new financial order is one thing, right? But people call it like a new that's what people refer to the new order. That's what they're talking about. It's like that's this new way of running things, right? And to them, that's theirs, right? China has one. Everybody has one for themselves now. But we talk about the globalist world order. We're talking about them clamping down. That they are the representatives of the global elitist, right? And they and all of their dreams and ambitions and everything that they do, which means the ends justify the means. So they don't care about causing mayhem, destruction, and death as they get their way, because that's what's good for us, because that's what they think, right? They sliding us in to manage decline, the collapsing of sovereign countries from the inside over generations, the subversion, the demoralization, the crisis, the destabilization, the crisis, and then they normalize things, and they repeat and rinse every generation to the point where it's complete mayhem. Right. And it becomes very easy for them to take over. And yeah, they, things like not caring about the quality of the water or the food that they give it, they allow us to have, and they sell at a profit. Because in the end, they're thinking, well, it doesn't matter. This thing's already over with. That's kind of what we were talking about last night. And so we see some of the ways they're trying to hold on to power here now, right? And in this piece. We're talking about how they're trying to hold on to power and the illegal, dirty things they do, and they get away with what they wouldn't normally get away with if everything was right. So let's let them finish up here.
And it's not working. Just like what we saw with Trump and all those indictments.
Yep.
The populist parties are only getting stronger in the face of such blatantly anti-democratic tactics. Take a look at this poll. Look at this. Just came out from you guys.
Look at it.
It's the latest.
Look at the poll.
The AfD, right? The Alternative for Germany that Elon Musk supports. That's their Patriot Party. They came in second place in their last national elections. They are now just 2 points from becoming the number one party in all of Germany, surpassing the CDU, which has been the most popular.
That's called a tipping point. They've been working on it for a while.
Let that hit you. The party that the German establishment has been doing everything it can to stop. They've actually gone so far as to threaten to ban them.
They're under our side.
Is now on the cusp of becoming the single most popular party in their entire nation. I have no doubt we'll be doing that video very, very soon.
All right, we got it.
The future of Germany is AfD. The future of Spain is Vox. The future of the UK is Reform. And the future of France is National Rally. I mean, there's just no getting around this. In our first video today, you definitely want to check.
Well, hopefully, and if we can keep, I'm going to cut it there. If we can keep giving these guys support and keep being an example, we keep winning, they can keep winning. We give them hope, right? We give them inspiration, and hopefully they're picking up on our tactics and to see what's working, because they're going to go through the same things we go through, and we'll go through the same things they go through. Like if you remember the immigration crisis, that it really started over there in Europe first. Like they started crashing borders over there before ours. I mean, ours was getting bad. Don't get me wrong. It's always had a problem, right? And Trump kind of saw this coming. And, he's like, that's what we need, a wall. That's what we need, a wall. They're going to do this to us, right? Without saying, hey, these guys are going to do this to us, so they can all criticize them, and everybody who's not in awareness yet can be like, oh, he's just crazy, right? He probably knew that, I can see that the UN's behind this. I can see the people, the money that's behind this. I know it's going to come here in a whole new way. So it started with this asylum crisis buildup, right? The veil of asylum. And then they started just shoveling people at us like left and right. And then that's when the other governments were like, well, shit, we can get rid of all these prisoners and mental patients and just send them on their way. Go to America. They'll take care of you up there, right? You'll have everything. Go, go, don't come back, right? So he saw it coming. and that's why he won in 2016, and that's why we have a big, beautiful wall right now that needs we need even more wall, I think. But if it's working, it's working, and we'll go with it. Let's go. But yeah, Scott, you would have loved the show last night, dude. I should let me find that link for you to watch. In fact, it's the end of the show last night. You should on Rumble. You're on Rumble, right? It's from like the last hour on, I think. I was like at the hour 15. It's after the reading. The what I covered in that. It's called a three collapses. Where's it at? Here we go. I have it in here. Let me find it, even though I'm messing myself up here. Okay, 3 nations, same collapse. And it talks about Canada, UK, and Australia all together. And they compare and contrast the end of the Roman Empire along with what's happened here in America as well. So it's a very, very, really great, well done video. And I did the analysis on that and at the end of last night's stream. You want to check it out? Yeah, you'll like it. You'll dig it. We talked a lot about Canada last night and whatnot. And some of the things that people like you will be part of, in the future, trying to right the ship. And that I said, like I've always said to you, and I've always said to other people that are from these countries that, we're coming, man. If we can be there in spirit, we're not going to show up with the U.S. military and do anything, right? I'm saying that us, the people, are coming to support and rally. We have to just get our house in order. But globally, we have a mission together, right? We may be from different countries, but globally, worldwide, and in this time period that we live in, we have a unified mission as people, as human beings on this planet, to stomp out tyranny and corruption wherever it may stand. And this virus that has infected our world isn't just unique to one country; it's unique to all 3 countries. And so we will be there at some point. But hopefully, people like yourself and others can start to rally with us, right? And let's all get on the same page, and we can start it that way. But we got our foot in the door here. We need to help you guys get your foot in the door. I talked about Poilievre last night, Pierre Poilievre, and how they're trying to run slander campaigns against him. They're using the archetype of evil Trump, which is an American slander campaign, as a way. And they're using that whole idea that he wants to take Canada over, which isn't true. But they're using that as a way to slander Pierre out of his chance to make Canada great again. And I don't know if he's the ideal candidate or if he's just as good as you're going to get, but at least it's a step towards it. So I remind you guys of the Ron Paul revolution, right? Ron Paul was very ideal. It is a very idealistic man. And he reintroduced the philosophy of liberty to generations of people in America, right? And he went up against the establishment. He called out the fake news in his own way. He called out the neocons. He called out more so calling out the false left right paradigm of neocon and establishment Democrat. We used to call them establishment left and right. Now we don't have to do that anymore, right? So it starts with that step. And even though Ron Paul didn't win, he ran twice. Even though he didn't win, he started something. And it turned into this. And what he did was that momentum, that grassroots group was always there. The people that were awake, aware, and resisting were there. And then came Trump, the guy who had the rest of the package. He had the rest of the what it took to actually beat the system. Ron Paul failed in ways because he didn't have he was more reserved. Okay. He didn't have the go for the throat mentality of a New York businessman, and he also didn't have the money. So money and this approach. But what he did, the work he did, was so important in catalyzing what came next and what's happening right now in America. That just because Pierre doesn't win this time, or maybe the next time he runs, or maybe I don't even know if this is his first or second time or what, right? Doesn't mean that the movement dies. It means that just getting started, you keep going and you keep going and you keep going, and you make it grassroots, right? You make it grassroots and you make it unstoppable to the establishment. It's the best you can get, the best you guys can do. And then as time goes on, you'll get support, right? and we get support, as best you can get from other places. But we don't want the world to be a shitty place, and we sure don't want this corrupt establishment and this Agenda 2030 post-national, as Trudeau called Canada, post-nationalism, right, to be surrounding us. We're going to do something about that. It's just, we're going to do something about Marxism and generational ideological subversion. This shit has to happen, or else it won't go away, right? We can have all the Trumps we want to, but then behind that, they'll have another few years of forgetting, and then in comes the next slick salesman on the left, selling a bunch of bullshit, the same way, slandering and pandering his way or their way to the White House, and they'll undo all the work we did, and we'll come back and have to redo it. And we can't have that, right? Eventually, technology will catch up to the point, and there'll be enough wiggle room, that they'll lock it down, and we'll never get a chance. None of us. So we have to be together. That's my rant on that. And good to see you, Scott Freedom. Always good to see you. We had a great stream together, guys, not too long ago. Covered a documentary called Canada is Dying, and we watched Strange Brew with the McKinsey brothers. Yeah, that was fun. Scott was a guest on that. Saiban. Hi. Thanks for coming. How you doing? I did my best for your name. Can I just call you Sayo? Sayo. I'm calling you Sayo. Nice to see you. All right. Where are we at? Oh yeah, let's go. That's right, Bob and Doug McKenzie. Take off, man. All right, let's get to the next one. It's not where I want to be. Let's see. Go back one. There we go. Back one over here. And okay, so more to come, guys. More to come. Let's get into Elon world. It's time to go to Elon world. Siobhan. Really? Siobhan. Okay. Siobhan. Got you. I'm glad you did that phonetically for me. Siobhan. Okay, got it. All right. Let's go to Elon world. A couple of things from him tonight. We got some really cool stuff. One,
President Trump's tech support, Elon Musk, has been.
We're going to get a report and update on the Tesla thing with him, talking about it briefly. He actually went on Fox News and did an interview. So a little bit of that. You got it. It's Irish. Irish. Got it. Siobhan. Got it. Thank you. And then we're also going to look at what he just exposed, one of the biggest scams ever. And this is an eye-opener, so stay tuned. But let's get to that interview first. And here we go.
Shaking up Washington with his Doge crusade to cut government waste as he becomes public enemy #1 for the Democrats, who are hell-bent on destroying his companies and making him the boogeyman of tonight's special elections. One of those races, Musk says, could affect the destiny of humanity. The billionaire has been rallying voters in Wisconsin to get behind conservative Brad Schimmel in today's high-stakes Supreme Court race. Elon Musk joins us now for an exclusive interview. Thank you so much for joining us, Elon. We are thrilled to have you on the Five.
Thank you for having me.
We're delighted to have you. So why is this race in Wisconsin so important? And what is your response to Democrats who've tried to make tonight's elections a referendum on you?
Well, the reason tonight's elections are so important is that the judge race will decide whether the Wisconsin districts get redrawn. They're going to try to gerrymander Wisconsin to remove 2 Republican seats. And as you know, the House is currently Republican by a razor-thin margin, which means that losing this judge race has a good chance of causing Republicans to lose control of the House. If you lose control of the House, there will be nonstop impeachment hearings. There will be nonstop hearings and subpoenas. And they're going to do everything possible to stop the agenda that the American people voted for when they voted for President Trump with a popular vote and the House and the Senate in November. They're going to do everything possible to stop the president's agenda. And so it's incredibly important that people in Wisconsin go out and vote right now, contact their friends and family, contact their neighbors, and take them to the polling stations, which close at 8 p.m. Tonight. You can actually register to vote and vote today. It's an extremely tight race. This is a race that will be decided by maybe 0.5% or 1%.
Wow.
It's
did not
really
know
neck
about
and
that.
neck. And so this could be decided by a single voter potentially. That's
Anybody
how
in
close it is.
Wisconsin? Did you go vote?
So, if
Maybe
you
wouldn't
know
voted.
people in Wisconsin, call them right now and ask them to
I'm going to
go
call
vote.
them right now.
Again, ask them to bring their friends, their
I don't know
family, their
anybody
neighbors.
though.
This is a crucial election. There is also
Anybody out there from
a ballot initiative,
Wisconsin?
to enshrine
Anybody?
voter ID in the Wisconsin Constitution, which is essential for election integrity.
Okay. You know, the interesting part of that is for years, people have never really understood, Elon, you know, the significance of this Wisconsin State Supreme Court race. But you make it very clear in terms of gerrymandering and the attempt then obviously to change the number of people, congressional seats in Wisconsin. So thank you for that. So we're going to go around the table and continue to ask some questions. So I'll start with you, Greg Gutfeld.
All right, Elon, great to see you as always. I have two questions.
Yeah.
I have two questions. One, I've noticed in the past you seem incapable of being risk averse. If you see something you want to try, you try it. And so I'm wondering, what kind of advice would you give to a young person whose fear of failure keeps them from taking risks that would actually enrich their lives, whether it's career or personal?
Sorry we dumped Rosie O'Donnell on you. Is that who went over there? Is that Rosie O'Donnell? Yeah, you guys, so sorry. Feel free to run her off though. She just not back to here.
Life. And my next question is, when the hell are you doing my show? I left voicemail messages. I've sent carrier pigeons. I get no response.
Get it in there.
Well, I'll be happy to do your show. I
Boom, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Did you hear the cash register go off in his head? Cha-ching, cha-ching. Elon's coming. Elon is coming. Elon is coming.
I've seen pieces of your show, and
He's
it's very
funny.
Actually, it's my style of humor. So I look forward to doing your show.
Awesome.
With respect to what to tell young people,
I call it.
I think it's always good when thinking about something that you're afraid of. When thinking about fear, look fear straight in the eye, and it will disappear.
Okay. All right.
The nature of fear is that people don't look at it.
Yeah.
Look at it directly, and it will be gone.
All right. Thank you.
There you go. Wise
Good
words.
advice. All right, Jesse.
Jessica, look at me. Look at me. Face your fears, Jessica. Elon, how are you? I'm Jesse Waters. Good to see you. I'm not going to beg for you to come on my show. I know it'll happen eventually. You said the other day you uncovered some evidence that there was massive Social Security fraud and that arrests were imminent.
Yes.
What can you tell us about that? And what can you tell us about what you've seen politicians do to make massive amounts of money off of the federal government, like Nancy Pelosi? Please.
Yes. So we've encountered. There's really so much for it. It's deciding what should be prosecuted first, because it's such a long list. You have to actually prioritize the list. We convey the list to the Department of Justice. The DOJ has a process that they go through to review and think about it. The wheels of justice turn slowly. In fact, obviously, I have a maniacal sense of urgency. So to me, when I see that terrible fraud has happened, I'm like, why haven't we arrested someone already? But as the saying goes, the wheels of justice turn slowly but surely. And I think probably the person that stole 400,000 Social Security numbers, at least, maybe more, will be arrested hopefully this week. And
I can't wait to find out who that is. Who stole 400,000 Social Security numbers? What were they using them for? Who were they working for? It's not like you just wake up one day and decide, hey, I'm going to steal 400,000 Social Security numbers. Well, just because I feel like it, maybe I can do it. What are you going to do with 400,000? You probably got to sell those, don't you? Do something with them. Yeah, I can't wait to find out who that is. That'll be hilarious.
You know, with respect to the non-governmental
I
organizations,
wonder what his bank account looks
sort of
like.
fake NGOs, I think there needs to be a number of arrests in that regard as well, because
Yes, fake NGOs, get them.
These are fake charities where mostly Democrats, almost, well, I don't want to be clear. There's sometimes a little bit of Republican in there, because they sometimes throw the Republicans a bone to say, hey, be quiet about this. So it's
yeah, and those Republicans are probably the neocons because they're in bed together. They're not real Republicans. They're rhinos, Republican in name only.
That's where you start getting the uniparty thing going on.
Yep.
But it is overwhelmingly to Democrats, and they give these give billions of dollars to NGOs run by Democrats that then go through a whole network of additional NGOs. It's a giant money laundering scheme.
I just want to stop for a second and just for 1 second, let's all recognize together. There's a whole world of people out there who will never understand this simple thing that's on live, broadcast television or whatever, right? Like stream. But I mean, the thing that they're talking about here on Fox News, right? This information, there's such a gap. There's, hey, Memento Mori, what's up? Good to see you, my friend. they have such a way of siloing those people into an information ghetto. Like they don't, if they hear this, right? This would be like, to us, we're like, holy shit, this fraud, it's we're so happy that it's going away. And there's people that will never, this information will never reach their ears. And this is even on Fox News, right? There's so much more that we know that's off the mainstream media, right? But this is different. Sometimes I just think about it, and I wanted to stop in that moment when I was thinking about it with you guys, and let's all think about it together. There are so many people out there that will never even get this public information that could very well change their mind about a lot of things, right? Get them on the right side of history and whatnot, but stealing their terminology, right? They always want to say about the right side of history is the left. No, what they're doing, no. And this is the good example of how they could be broken free from that mind control, right? That establishment narrative mind control that they're under, because they're boxing this narrative by these criminal, abusive people. But anyways, let's let them finish. But I just want to point that out. Just think about this. You're hearing things that a lot of people, there are people out there that'll never understand these concepts.
Really, at this point, I think the word NGO and money laundering are almost synonymous.
Okay.
Wow. Thank you.
Makes sense to me. Kennedy?
Hello, Judge. And hello, Elon. Welcome to the 5. Great to
Hi.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the
I thought that was like a Debbie Downer character.
Club violence. Your car
Here we go.
company was
Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, it was a leftist dream come true. It was technologically advanced. It was the word of mouth was better than any car company, arguably, on the market. And now the left is trying to make it a pariah
0 to 60 in 2 seconds.
tying their anti-Elon politics to violence. How do you talk the unhinged off the ledge, and how do you counter that violence that you're seeing at Tesla dealerships?
Yes, it is remarkable that there is so much violence. People have burnt cars, that fired bullets into dealerships. They've scratched swastikas into Teslas of the innocent people that they're just going about their lives. They've done nothing wrong. And Tesla has done nothing wrong as a company. And so I find it ironic and incredibly hypocritical.
Look at the mind control.
That the same Democrat politicians.
This is mind control, man. And this is optics building.
Want to throw someone in.
See, look at this freak over here, right here. This is optics building. This is all for propaganda's sake, right? These people get out there with agendas and we're gonna bang and destroy these toys with hammers, and then we're gonna make the news, right? And then it's like more people everywhere in the world are protesting Tesla now. Elon better stop hanging around Trump, or nobody's gonna like him anymore.
In prison for 20 years simply for
watching. I mean, come on. Does anybody have any respect for the terror clown here?
January 6th, but not actually doing it.
Like, look at that. It's a terror clown. Terror clown is out there busting toys with a hammer on the street like a child. And that's supposed to be respectable?
Violence. Have you don't hear a single word from them?
They had to blur out because the top came off.
Violence happening against Tesla. What incredible hypocrites they are. It's outrageous.
Yeah, this is all portrayal.
I mean, really, this is fundamentally a case of terrorism. It's wide-scale domestic terrorism with the purpose of intimidation, and it's harming innocent people. It's really terrible. And I think what we actually have to get to are the people who are.
Oh yeah, there he is.
And
5'2", 400 pounds on a scooter, ramming into a Tesla because his mind control told him to.
Paying for these attacks and protests. That's who we really need to go after. Because the people who are actually throwing the Molotov cocktails, they're the foot soldiers. Right. But we need to go after the generals, and we're going to do so. The president has made it very clear that we're going to go after those that are paying and organizing these violent attacks.
Can't wait. And they're already getting arrested.
Has said the same thing. I believe that is exactly what will happen.
Do you know who they are?
We're coming for them.
Do you know who those generals are?
We know. We do.
Yes, and hopefully the prosecution will be for RICO and an organized criminal enterprise, which makes the penalties even more serious. And now,
but I that'd be nice if there really is an organization behind it, or they can pin that on somebody. But I mean, until we understand better that subversion runs wild, and that people are being programmed by it, demoralized by it, and then that they simply have to just show them clown person banging a hammer onto a toy Tesla and people calling it Nazi or whatever, right? To trigger people emotionally, to activate them, right? They're sleepers in a sense that they're they're so wound up and anxious by the information they've been fed in, that the worldview that they've been boxed into, that activating them with emotional triggers becomes a fairly predictable, right? Not everybody, some people will just go online and scream and scream and scream and type a bunch of bullshit and make themselves look silly, right? Some people will just yap about it around their friends when they get, a little bit of a buzz going on or something. And some people will just sit and stew, right? But some people will be like, I gotta do something. And there's my chance. I can be like the other proud comrade activist that did something I saw on television. I will fight it. I'll get away with it. And then, haha, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh God, what did I do that? The moment hits them when they get arrested, like that old guy that had thought he'd gotten away with something. And he didn't realize there were cameras on the Tesla. He's like, your face and your license plate are all over the internet, guy. He's like, no, they're not. Like, yeah, they are. That dude got arrested, charged with felony. Huh? And he was like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. He went into immediate denial about it. Well, he totally did it. Why aren't you proud about it now? You were proud about it when you did it, right? You thought you were making a difference. Now you're not proud about it? Why? Oh, yeah, you know why. You know why. You're done. I mean, he looked like he was already retired anyway, so probably didn't matter that much. But, the jail time and the felony and the fines, that'll do it. And, the other thing about it is that when you get caught doing this level of vandalizing, you get felony charges. In most cases, you're getting a felony charge, right? And then guess what? You can't vote. You can't vote. You're doing aggravated criminal activities. Felonies on those levels usually means you can't vote. I mean, you do some other shit, you have felonies, you may get to vote, right? But you start doing like serious criminal stuff, those level of felonies, like, anything that's violent or actively violent or, potentially murderous, destructive, those are the ones they usually take your voting right away for. So there you go. Now you don't get to vote anymore. So enjoy your Tesla damage. These people have insurance. Tesla will never go out of business because of what you're doing. And you just take yourself out of the game, which I think just works out great. And I think we should just thank those people who are taking the hit, right? Who are taking the hit right now on their Teslas. Thank you. We're sorry it's happening, but you're doing good work, right? Keep driving your Tesla. And if somebody damages it, get your insurance company out there, but make sure you turn them in so we can take yet another deranged person off the voter roll.
Yes, absolutely. These are serious crimes where the organizers and pushers of mass violence will go to prison for a very long time.
That's right. Okay.
And I hope they see this segment.
Well, we'll play it again. Jessica.
There's definitely, I would say, Siobhan, there's definitely agitators, right? There's definitely groups where there's agitation going on. There's definitely some organization. There's a lot of useful idiots too that are also activated on the just immediately in the moment, right? They want to be part of it. They're not part of anything, but they'll stand in solidarity with it and as an act of protest, right? And I think it's great. And you got to understand too, like I was just saying earlier, a lot of these people, the same people that do these things, never get the information that I'm showing you right now. And this is, I mean, I'm saying this is surface level shit right here. Like this is Fox News, right? You should be able to get to it. And but a lot of them won't even turn on Fox News, so they're only getting fed the establishment, the hardcore establishment narrative, right? The slander campaigns, the pander campaigns, all those things, right? So they are getting fed that constantly, and they have been their entire life, and that's where their mind is. So their worldview, their ability to understand the true nature of reality has been taken away from them and replaced with a false narrative about the world. And so in many cases, these people are on Facebook, they're on some social media platform, right? Where their bias confirmation is at a high level because their friends and the groups that they're in and whatnot have been limited down to people under the same mental condition that they're under. So I see it all the time. If I wanted to do more, I could show you from my own experiences, but then that would be that'd be kind of a dox, right? But if anybody goes out to their old, social media platforms like a Facebook or something like that and look around and see what the people you used to know who all grouped onto that establishment side and who all have TDS and EDS now, Elon derangement syndrome, see what they're doing to each other. They literally are just feeding each other constantly in this cycle It's ongoing. One person comes out outrageous, somebody else jumps in. They're all there. They're all like, propagating it, and they're all persistently confirming each other's bias, right? And so they get trapped into that world where that is all that's going on, and they feel like that is everything. These people that are out there that are doing this think that they are the majority. I honestly think most people agree with them, and most people support what they're doing. That's the worldview they have from the boxed in narrative, establishment narrative, mind control that's here in the U.S. And I'm sure you guys have it over here in Ireland as well. Are you in Ireland? I assumed you were in Ireland because you said it was Irish, but you could be anywhere. Anyways, yeah. So that's pretty much what that's about. So yeah, but there are groups that are like, okay, let's actively try to do this, but then it's also to stir other people, to activate other people. It's more like the activation crew, right? As well, right? It's like, okay, yeah, we'll get out here and do some of this stuff. They get some patsies spun up, and they send them out, and they ruin their lives for the cause, right? And oh, you're such a hero. Okay, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Goodbye. That's pretty much how they get taught, how they get treated. Let's see. Let me get Cat up here. I'm way back. Yeah, remember to listen to the Wolf, guys. He knows what he's talking about. Here you go.
Okay, well, liberal Tesla lover here. My sister has 2 in her family, so have not thrown any Molotov cocktails recently. But I wanted to talk to you about what Doge has been doing. So you've been making cuts to a lot of the agencies that have open investigations and regulatory battles with your companies. At the same time, you continue to get billions in government contracts. Tesla gets billions in subsidies. How do you explain that to the American people?
Dig it in, huh? We're gonna move on to the other thing next. This is kind of dragging a little bit, but try using programmed. Try using programmed. Programmed works. It's more of a step-by-step thing. People, the brainwash thing is like, I get it, but you might be able to get away with programmed better. So I'm in the U.S. American, but also citizen of Ireland and UK 3. But only have been there twice and once respectively. Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. I don't know, you got 3 different citizenships. Let's see. Hey, there's an Australian. Hey, what's up, Amp? How you doing? Good to see ya. Good to see you. Good day. Good day. Good day. All right, let's wrap this up. I'll get to the next part.
Everything that Doge does is an open book. So I think the most transparent.
Yeah, that's one thing they don't even understand.
The most transparent organization.
I saw somebody out there the other day talking about
every single Doge action is listed on the Doge.gov website. It's also listed on the X handle. So if anyone has a concern about any one of those actions, they can bring that up. They can raise that. And I do want to say, like, sometimes we make a mistake. Nobody bats 1,000. We will at times make a mistake, and we'll act very quickly to correct it. I'm under such an extreme spotlight, so much scrutiny, that it's literally impossible for me to get away with anything nefarious, and obviously nor do I wish to. So this is a case where we have radical transparency. We're actually willing to admit that we do make mistakes. Often people are not willing to admit they make mistakes, but we are. But we want to emphasize we fix them quickly, and we're trying to do the right thing for the American taxpayer, for the American people. And I think history will be the judge that what we've done here and what we're doing is a very good thing for the strength and future of America.
Okay. So, Elon, for one last time, why don't you remind the viewers why the election in Wisconsin is so important to America as well as the Trump agenda?
Absolutely. So the reason that, because it does seem like, why isn't this rather a small thing? It's happening, ironically, of course, on April Fool's Day. This is not an April Fool's joke. This is very real. So a judge race election in Wisconsin will decide whether or not the Democrats can gerrymander Wisconsin in order to remove 2 House seats from.
All right, so there you go. The point of this one is that if you're in Wisconsin, make sure that you are part of the vote here on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, because otherwise they're going to try to steal and do more bad things, jerry-rigging, gerrymandering the districts, and because they can't win fairly, right? All right. Oh yeah, by the way, we're going to get into that in a second too. It's going to be happening tomorrow. Tomorrow's the big day. All right, so let's get on to the next piece here, because this is very interesting, and it's a lot more interesting than that interview. But this is the biggest scam. And that Elon has uncovered here, and he is at where is this? He's somewhere. He's doing something. So let's check it out. Here we go. Somewhere doing something. But check this out. The biggest scam in American history by Elon Musk.
It'll be okay. I mean, Buzz Aldrin's still alive, and he went past the belts.
Is it working? Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, there you go. So, Antonio, can you tell us what you Antonio's coming out with the Social Security? So, just trying to review Social Security.
So this is one of the guys that works for Doge who's doing the Social Security audit, right?
You may have heard that we found 20 million dead people marked as alive in the Social Security database. This is so crazy. And then you'll notice there's a strange trend here where how many Social Security numbers were issued. Do you want to?
Yeah. So let me tell you what happened here. We started at the top of the system.
I want to talk about a lot of it.
We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came with a big list of stuff they're working on. You've heard some of that already, but this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we're like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, just this literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. Yeah, this country's been great to us. My brother and sister all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America. And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed this in this direction. I want to honor them right now. They work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on.
Yeah. And all the people who need to see this probably won't ever get to see it. That's the sad part. And I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Scott Free Freedom from Canada that was here. You got to check out the end of the bonus content part of Unread the Game, I showed from last night. You got to check it out. The three nation collapse, Australia was mixed in there with the UK and Canada, and talked about managed decline and that type of collapsing methodology. You'll get all my comments on it and all the different additional information I have on it. I think you should watch that. You'll really enjoy it, and especially since you're here making some statements about elections and whatnot. It's very important. I think you guys will dig it. So I think you'll dig it. So definitely make sure you have. I know you're over there on Rumble, right? So make sure you have that link. I'll just have public service announcement here to make sure that the right people get to see the right content. All right, let's get back to it.
I want to stop for a minute. I want to honor those people today. Very good people. Very good people. I have been from DC to Social Security offices to the border to track this down, and very good people have helped us along the way. I want to thank them.
Yeah.
This number, what this is when you come in the country, if you're illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid. They'll give you an asylum case. You'll get an interview. Then you get in. That's one way to do it.
Asylum's been rigged, man. Asylum has been rigged. It has to go through a complete reformation.
The way to do it is to just go to the border. Literally, this happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make an administrative offense under last administration. And then you go walk across the border. They do what's called a release your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, notice to appear, which is to appear to judge. The wait times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges. There's only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people. Okay, so what happens then? Once you're in the country and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we've mapped the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document.
Come in the audience.
Apply with 765. It's the work form. You get this form called the 766.
To turn around.
And then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview, no ID.
This is worth just reiterating. It's not people sometimes think that under the Biden administration that he was simply asleep at the switch. He wasn't asleep. They weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people and make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape.
Yep.
Look, if I hadn't seen this myself.
Well, not only that, but dude, I mean, not only that, but the money they were making, of the human trafficking money Like that's people all the way down the line. We watched a documentary called Line in the Sand, did a big promotion on it because it was behind a paywall, and I took some hits to make sure that it was not behind a paywall. But I felt good about doing that because it was right before the election, and it was information that people needed. But if you can watch it now, Line in the Sand by James O'Keefe risked life and limb to go down and create to break the story of human trafficking at the southern border, and what a billion-dollar money racket that is. I mean, that's why they were making so much money doing that. And I don't even know what these kids end up. It's maybe just the process of getting money out of the government for them. It's just draining and draining and draining. And literally they're paying, a security guard, 6 figures to stand there and guard a facility full of kids while they're transporting it from one place to another, stacking them in criminal foster care systems and fake charities. I mean, the money laundering, aside from just trying to have a permanent replacement voter block, which they needed to do anyways, because people eventually wise up and leave that corrupt establishment. I mean, they're lucky, right? They're smart enough and lucky enough. They do it, right? And that's why we are all here. Guys, give yourself a hand. Give yourself a hand right now. Give yourself a hand. You have made it. You are smart enough and lucky enough to have escaped the establishment narrative. That's why you are here. You are among like-minded people who get you. And that's what we do here. So give yourself a hand. Everybody, really, you deserve it on this great day. Make sure that you guys, let's take a moment to be thankful and grateful and appreciative for the fact that we were smart enough and lucky enough to escape the trap, right? So there we go. Yeah, come on. Let it ring. Let it ring. We don't give ourselves a round of applause very often at all. In fact, this may be the first time. So Snipe, thank you for participating. And I'm sure other people will be participating here shortly. There we go. All right. Everybody, come on in. If you participate, you get to get on the screen, and I'll let these guys talk.
I believed it. I went through it myself and mapped it. And Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system, from Social Security to all the benefit programs, have been set to max inclusion, max pay for these people, and minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example.
1.3 million.
We found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people, in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. We're asking ourselves why. And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote in this population, yes.
And who did vote?
And we found some by sampling that actually did vote. And we have referred them to prosecution at the Homeland Security Investigation Service.
Yeah.
Already.
Oh, yeah. Shouldn't have done that.
Already. That is already happening right now.
That's the most fair, clean election ever in 2020.
Yeah. And the truly disturbing thing, though, I just want you to know this, the truly disturbing thing to me, and the darkest thing about this to me, the voter fraud is terrible, but the human tragedy this created is extraordinary, because what you don't understand, people don't know, and Americans need to know, that's why I'm here, is that human traffickers made $13 to $15 billion off of this. Okay? That's the money that's going to...
Okay, he said it. He said it. He said it. That's what I'm talking about.
Moving people around the world to our borders because of these incentives. How does it work?
Wow. And he just said that wasn't just from moving people within our country, right? He said moving people from around the world to our border. So that's the money that they made getting to our border. But then there's a whole nother racket once you get here. It's a whole nother racket. I'm telling you, man, like Line in the Sand will blow your mind. I wish we could play it again. I wish we could play it for everybody again. I've seen it like 4 or 5 times now. So, but you guys got to see Line in the Sand. Really write it down. I know a lot of my crowd has, but maybe some of the new people that are here, make sure you write it down and you put it on your list of things to do. Okay. Cause it's worth the watch. It'll make you like, light years ahead of anybody on the topic. Right. So if you're, in your day-to-day life or whatever, you saw people are like, oh, those poor people. Why don't they just let them in, give them everything? Right. You got those people in your life. This is a wake up and a half or something like that. It's literally a moment of clarity in a bottle. And you can watch it and be like, oh yeah, and figure out how to get them to watch it. And then boom, they're like, but yeah, but look what's happening to these kids. Look what's happening to these women. Look what's happening to all these people that you are getting caught up in the middle of this racket. Don't you feel bad for them? Wouldn't it be better off if they weren't trying to get caught up in this racket at all? Yeah.
What happens? Hey, if you're in Africa and you're in South America, you got to walk up through Mexico and through America. Who do you pay? You pay the narcos, you pay the traffickers, right? And we were told by ICE, it's between 20,000 and $500, depends if they pick you up, to walk across all those countries and get all the way up to the border.
And who gets them there? Who gets them to those people? It's the UN and NGOs. They're literally there. They literally are on camera. Muckraker documentary. That's a free one. That's one you can go watch right now. That's one that's on my Rumble channel. The Southern Border Invasion, Unveiling Reality. It's been a minute, but that one right there, you can go watch right now. Just go to Muckraker. I don't need the view. Go to Muckraker. Go give them some love. Subscribe to them. They do the really hard, good work, the dangerous work. That guy's taken that trip like multiple times. Him and his brother have walked from El Salvador and Panama and other places all the way up to the Darien Gap to come to the southern border to record who's involved in all this. And literally along the way, you see the UN and NGOs and all these groups, right, aggressively helping people get to our border to invade our country, right? And in that path, in that mission, they're handing people over to drug cartels for a profit, helping the drug cartels profit from this endeavor because they want to collapse our country that bad. They want to change everything about this sovereign free land that bad because they know it stands in the way of their world tyranny, right? And so they're all bought off and all paid off all the way down the line.
That money goes. It goes to the cartels. It goes to human traffickers. Right? There are 30,000 children that have not appeared on the notice to appear already. ICE knows this.
30,000
children. 270,000 children didn't even get notices to appear. ICE told us that kids are being trafficked back and forth across the border to complete families to make this easier. This is a human
back and forth. Now it's bad enough that if you have to do it one time as a kid, you're forced to do it once, right? But if they're like literally taking you because you're too young to resist and you don't have anything going on, they're literally taking you into the country, pulling you all the way to one spot, then taking you out, pulling you all the way back down there and making you do it again to help get other people in or something. That's beyond bad, man. I mean, that's beyond bad. I don't know if that's what's worse, but the whole thing's terrible. But they're just reusing the same kids over and over again. That's horrifying.
It's not just the money, it's the people and the kids. And how many of these people died on the way up here that didn't make it in? What happened to them? We created a system here that created an incentive for people to come and be taken advantage of by these traffickers. And how do you think they get paid? Well, you're in Africa, Central America, you got $20,000 or $10,000 or $5,000 to pay these traffickers? No, you don't. What happens? You come in, then you owe them the money. You're an indentured servant. If you don't pay them, what happens? What do? They kill your mother, they kill your brother, they kill your family. What happens next?
Yep.
That's
it. That's what we were talking about last night.
Tell you, it's tragic.
The worst.
The tragedy, the human tragedy this created
Sick.
is extraordinary. That's the real problem. This is America. We don't do this here in America.
Yeah.
We don't do this here in America. People come here legally, and that's great. Elon came here legally. My parents came here legally. That's the way to do it. This is outrageous.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, you can see because there's still actually a lot of people out there, especially in the sort of center third of the country, that somehow think this is made up by the right, or it's like some fiction. It's not, that is somehow not true, but it is absolutely true. And you can see that if you like, look at things like the state of New York, which tried to make it legal for illegal immigrants to vote in the state of New York. That was only shut down by the New York Supreme Court a few weeks ago. And California has made it healthcare available to all illegals in the state. And they initially claimed that it would only cost $3 billion. It's now $9 billion and climbing. So it's really, if you create a massive financial incentive for people to come to the United States illegally, then that's what they will do. It's a very sort of, it'd be strange, it'd be odd if that didn't happen. So the thing that actually has the Democrats losing their mind by far, the real reason for these attacks and the sort of the burning of the cars and everything is that we're going to turn off the payments to illegals.
Yep.
Because, yeah, I mean, because that's not the deal.
Well, that and the whole racket that's holding it up and that's made it happen. Yeah, all the way down the line, a lot of people just went out of business.
It's simply not right. If you look at that thing with the Roosevelt Hotel and the luxury hotels in New York, where the Federal Emergency Management Agency funds were being used to house illegals in luxury hotels in New York that the average American can't afford. And they were giving a welcome package and $10,000 debit cards and everything else. Like it's super real. I mean, it's like it's in my, I think it's the biggest voter fraud thing in history by far.
Yeah.
And moreover, if left unchecked, it would have succeeded. As Antonio mentioned, the time frame for going from asylum to citizen is roughly 5 years. And so all of the people that came in on that chart that you saw, if the machine behind the Kamala puppet had won, then the change out puppet, but it's the same machine. Then they would have actually legalized all those people, and there would be no swing states.
Man.
And we added more.
Yeah,
Remember,
and that's exactly what I was saying. That was going on. That they're intentionally pushing all these people to these swing states in order to change that. Now, somebody was, eventually proven wrong that pushed back on me and said, "Well, no, they're just doing that. Republicans are in on it too, but they're not in on it." Yeah, I don't see that happening. Right? Well, they're voting for this and that. Like that's what it's really about. It's about getting those congressional seats and whatnot and changing that. I'm like, I mean, at some level, but really just if you just pack in these illegals that you brought here and that you're pandering to and that you're bribing and buying off into swing states, they won't be swing states anymore, and you won't have to worry about it. You'll just have a blue wave everywhere you go. And that's what the thing was. It's like, the Republicans are the now Republicans, the new Republicans, the MAGA America First Republicans. They're trying to get them all out. I say Trump wants to get them all out. So I don't know where that's coming from. But this is the same guy who said that the election was going to be, Kamala was going to win, even though he didn't want her to win. But that's just I just go to a different level. I've been doing this a long time. I've been involved in this level of establishment versus the anti-establishment activities for like I said, I will go back to the Ron Paul days, right? So you got to understand that's 5 elections now, 5 elections. And I wouldn't have called myself much before that, but 5 elections of hard work, of activism, of actually being involved and trying to make a difference, of talking to people, of spending the hours online, putting out information, having conversations, and all the work I've done here, all the content I've built here. This all comes from a lot of experience. It's not some Yahoo on here looking for attention, who's just talking about shit, from right out of his ass. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this stuff and I wouldn't be doing this kind of content if it wasn't what my background was in, if it wasn't something that I had to offer of value to people. It wasn't something that I was passionate about, right? I'm not just on here to make a channel out of anything I possibly can because I just gotta be here, right? I'm not one of those guys. I'm not one of those guys who's got nothing going on in their life where you just got to be online and have people looking at you to get attention, right? I'm literally here because I'm concerned about the future of our kids and what's going to happen, and I have a lot of experience and information to give out to others. I've been through a lot. I've learned a lot. I've gotten through a lot of grifts, a lot of understandings of how the true nature of reality really works. I've listed it out. I put it out in different types of ways for people to understand the true way it's working, so we can understand how the game has been rigged, so we can unrig the game, so we can actually beat them in the long term and permanently. For the most part, well, people say posh says you can't do that. It's not going to happen. Well, over generations it could happen, because over generations we became demoralized. This is just because you were born into a demoralized world doesn't mean that's the way it was or the way it's supposed to be. It just means that's how it was when you got here. Like, oh no, it's always been like that, man. Sure, it has. No, it hasn't. It can be better. It can be awesome. It can be, I mean, people just have to get mentally tough, and you do that on a generational basis. We had just reintroducing logic and reason and making that what's cool back into the world, and like never before, and then listing out the reasons why, understanding the past, real history, things like that could fortify us for generations to come against grifting, corrupt, scamming people. Right, on all levels, from the person narcissist trying to get supply off you and ruin your life, or trying to take what you have, right? Or, to the grifter who's trying to use you for their own needs and their own profit, to the government, the corrupt establishment government who's trying to steal everything from you and oppress you and ruin your quality of life and telling you that you don't matter. All these things could be avoided on, if we take a generational approach to it, but that's what it takes. So that's what I do. Like I said, this isn't about some guy that's on the internet that needs attention because he doesn't get it from, anywhere at home, right? That's not that, like we're doing a lot of things, but this is a passion. And the reason why I do it is because I want to be here for the people that want to know this information and that are like me, and to know people that are like me, and let other people meet each other that are like each other, right? We're not going to all be exactly the same and agree on everything perfectly 100%, but we're more alike than the people that are trapped behind that establishment narrative, trapped behind that first veil, right? So anyways, yeah, there we go.
Every year.
Yes.
It went from 1 million.
It was going ballistic.
Going ballistic. And it is just, these people are just entering the benefit programs now, by the way.
Right.
We're seeing the ramp happen too. And these are just the ones.
Oh, I was saying that there's people out there will never know this information,
This
right?
doesn't count the other, 7.5, 8 million that ICE thinks are out there.
Yeah.
We don't know if they have numbers. The number is totally uncontrolled. The voter ID requirement in the state is super important because of this.
Yes.
Because the Social
This
Security
goes
number,
off what he was talking about
it's not supposed to
Wisconsin.
be a federal ID number, but it basically is. That's how you access all the benefits.
I think.
This is why we need voter ID. Because this thing is not
We need
secure.
voter
You can
ID.
walk into a Social Security office today as an adult in America, and get a Social Security number enumerated with simply answering 6 or 7 simple questions,
Look at
and showing some forms of ID that are not federal ID.
Well, you can just actually make it up. Basically, you can show basically like a fake utility bill, or
So a medical bill and a school ID.
Yeah, medical bill and school ID, and you can get a Social Security number.
Yes.
And then from there you get on the voter rolls, and then basically Dem operatives will follow the vote.
Yes.
So the problem with this obviously is that
Am
if you
City.
turn the swing states blue, then there are no swing states, and then we're in a permanent one party system. And as soon as they win that, they'll have.
Oh, yeah,
House,
that's what I was
Senate,
talking
the
about.
Presidency. They'll pack the Supreme Court. Then they'll
Yep.
double down on the illegals, just
Yep.
like California. So
Yep. And all the people, the thing about it is, all the people that helped him get here and enabled it, they're the ones who are going to get shoved under the rug, right? Oh, well, no. We need legal rights now that you now, no. Now it's about, new versus old. Oh, and guess what? Black Caucus, guess what? You're part of the old party now. You're old now. You are here. You had your chance. You got to give these other people a chance now. Now they're more important than you are. They're going to take your place, right? And that's what they're going to do. They're going to take your place. 50% abortion and drugs and crime and all the demoralization. Well, no matter who gets in power, nothing changes for you guys, especially when it's the corrupt establishment. But yet, now, because you chose to side with the bad guys in that case, now they don't have any use for you anymore, right? They got a whole new batch of people that are going to do what they say, right? Or they're going to dance for money and do what they say, right? Now you guys will become the new paradigm, the new people to go against, right? Now all that stuff that you wanted to avoid, it comes back on you, right? You took care of everybody else, helping them get to where they wanted to be. This is if it had gone through, right? That like what Elon's saying, to back him up what he's saying, because he's right. They would have doubled down. They would have packed the Supreme Court. They would have done everything that they wanted to do and locked it down. And they eventually would have gotten the GOP back and locked that down too. Guess what, guys? Now that neocon is back in charge of GOP, we are now going to run it exactly like the Democrats run their party. And now we'll go back to being the heels and they can be the faces. And we'll switch sides. And whenever we want to go to war, we'll go to war. We'll let the Republican win. And whenever we want to further the social agenda, we'll let the Democrat win. That's the way it used to be, if you really look at it, right? And they would keep perpetuating each other's agendas. They would never walk anything back. That should have been include everybody, right? That's the one I tried to get people to realize when I was back in Ron Paul. I was like, you guys got to realize that nothing changes no matter who's in charge, right? This guy is he's a real guy. He's a real deal. He's honest at least, right? But people were so demoralized at that point. But luckily, it was effective in its own way, the way it was supposed to be, and that, inevitably, But that's the thing, right? It's like the people that. Well, my point is the people that helped enable this, that fought against the resistance to this tyranny, right, would eventually be cast aside, and not only that, villainized, used as a way to perpetuate and pull up the new group, the newbies. The newbies are now the ones that we need newbie rights. right? You've been here for generations. These people haven't had a chance yet. Don't you want to be equitable? Right? See, all of a sudden, all that shit's gonna start backfiring. And that's what I said, that when you're a useful idiot for cultural Marxism, corrupt establishment systems, right? They always take you out first. The people that help them come to power always get taken out first, right? That's why, because you're already being set up to be the patsies, to be the dupes, to be the marks. You're already the marks. So you're already being set up for that. The whole time that you were supporting what you thought was virtuous and right, you didn't want to do that research. You wanted to go out and party instead. So now they got over on you. Oh, you didn't want to change that channel. The mind control was too strong to go listen to a differing opinion without losing your mind, right? They're still playing by the rules on some level. It was your responsibility to break that. It was your responsibility to figure it out. And all those people who tried to help you, who you spit on, and who you turned your back on, all those people who cared about you, right? And that you did this to, and you did to yourself. No, they're going to come after you first, not them. They're going to come after you first. Remember, guys, listen to this wolf. Listen to this wolf. Listen to him. Oh yeah. Elif Bond, thank you for the $2 super chat. Just showing some support. Thank you so much for that support, Elif Bond. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. And thank you again for the $2 super chat. You are awesome. Hold on. Do I have to? Let me give you a non-offensive one. I got a non-offensive one. Yeah, here we go. All right, and the $5 follow-up. I love the $5 follow-up. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And you got some kitties running down the alley for you. Enjoy that. Enjoy that. Thank you so much. Like Wolfram says, always listen to the wolf. Thank you for your support with your super chat. I do appreciate it. Let me give you some hearts for that. Hearts and hearts and hearts and hearts and hearts. There you go. Thank you. All right, so let's wrap this one up because we got other things to do.
We've
Get
seen
Mr.
this
Trump.
happen in California.
Terrorists. We're talking
California's
terrorists
majority
next.
exempt. So, but at least California is held back by the fact that people can move out of state. Once you can no longer leave America, it'll be far worse in California.
We got cats. We got cats.
So the gravity of the situation is severe.
Help us clean up Wisconsin border wall.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. So, I mean, it's really simple stuff. Just having photo ID to vote is like you can't buy something at the liquor store, but voting is more important than buying a beer. So
you're gonna need real ID on an airplane.
Yeah, you can't fly anywhere. Yeah, and
Just,
same people who are saying that there should be no voter ID at voting stations demanded vaccine ID from everyone.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's weird.
Yep. Hypocrites. Feels good.
So it's really about just restoring integrity to the voting system, which really should not be a right or left cause, but
right.
A cause for all.
Yeah.
Do we not all want integrity in the voting system? Of course we do.
Yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So.
Yep, we do. And how many times has something like that come up? You're like, oh, this is going to be the one that bridges the gap, right? This is going to be the issue or the thing or the movement or whatever that bridges the gap, right? And then they find a way to ignore it. They find a way to not be part of it. It's the weirdest thing, man. You think that, oh yeah, voting, you want your vote to count, don't you? You want your vote to count. And then they end up not getting behind it. They find a way to make it wrong or something, right? They find a way to stay in their mind control. They do it every time. All right. But yeah, man, that's again, more information that some people won't get to see, but they should see it. Hopefully one day it does manage to break through. But that, and that's what's important, right? And that's what's important. All right, so
have any plans?
all right, we'll probably hear from her again later tonight.
Weather.
Maybe
Everybody's
tonight,
out.
maybe tomorrow night. It just depends on how much we can get through in our allotted time. But I wanted to bring her out anyways, at least for this part, because tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, is our Liberation Day. That is our Liberation Day. And to celebrate, I might just move the Thursday show to Wednesday and the Wednesday show to Thursday. And I still am looking for that, the final report from the people who said they got the real evidence. They're going to bring us out some real evidence on these, what's under the pyramids thing that's going on, the grip that's going on. Right now, that's all I need to move forward. So they can't counter the counter with that. They're not going to show us some real stuff. Yeah, it's probably not what it is. But anyways, so for the unveiling reality show, where I go into topics like that, I'm still waiting on some critical key information from the people that are, the Italians and the other people that are behind it, and the people that are like, there's this guy that's kind of intermediate, he's like an intermediary, right? That's kind of like on the, okay, we want to prove that it was aliens kind of guy, right? Or we want to prove that it's an energy system. Like he wants it to be that. So it's very biased in the sense of the approach, but somehow he's the one who released all this first. And so he becomes the intermediary. So we have to kind of like, when you're kind to decide things, do root cause analysis and really analyze this to the core, questioning to the void, you got to get all the information. So I'm kind of waiting. I know there's so many people out there jumping the shark. I got a collection of them. And I just want to show you like the collection I got on that show. I got a collection of the people that are just going all in on it, like right off the bat. And so we can talk more about that whole phenomenon where people are like, I'm all in right off the bat, right? Even though I don't know shit about it, I'm just going off of what I heard. And it's like the hearsay army, right? The hearsay army. Oh, it's it. This will change everything. History's melting and everything's different. Like I said, here's the really the quick knockout on this one, right? If you're going to have free energy, right, from a stone pyramid or whatever you think it's underneath of it, right? All the secret stuff's underneath it. They put the stones on top just to fool us or something like that. It has to power something. Or it's not even there. Like, who cares, right? So you don't have any cars. You don't have lights. You don't have elevators. You're using goddamn steps, supposedly. You don't have lights. You don't have light bulbs. You don't have freaking laptops, computer, flashlights. You don't have nothing. What the hell is this thing powering if it's so goddamn important? Oh, well, it must be teleporting people from place to place. And stone? You could teleport across galaxies and dimensions, but you need a big stone pyramid. It looks all weird to do that. And, at the time, he wouldn't have been hiding it from anybody. None of this shit makes sense. It's all people trying to make it make sense. So I'm waiting to see what they come out with as far as their final explanation for these what looks like to them columns underneath the pyramids before I pounce on it. But at this point, it just looks like they've taken things from one place and put it in another to make it look a certain way. But I'm going to wait. I'd rather just wait and do it all right at once, right? You guys know that's how I do it. All right, so let's bring her in. The very lovely press secretary, Caroline Levitt, and she's going to talk about Liberation Day. It's coming. It's tomorrow. It's Liberation Day. Ladies and gentlemen, did you get your Liberation Day merchandise? Have you made your Liberation Day food? If I was smart, I would have already got that all set up and been like, here you go. Yeah, this is how I should have put the whole thing together. Like, this is the way we celebrate Liberation Day. Didn't you know that? And you can get all your supplies right here at Liberation Day headquarters. But it would be too late by then. Blue Lantern, Tim Pool just went on a rant why his kids won't be allowed to watch talking animals in cartoons. It was the most retarded thing I'd ever heard him say. I love it. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'll take here. Let me just pull her up on screen because she's better to look at than me. And we will. I'll talk about this before we hit play on this. Right. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Mr. Blue Lantern. I think that's right. Yeah. It's funny because when I first started watching Tim, I told people this. I first started watching Tim, and he'll be on later in the show if we get to it. If I don't just talk all night, but I said, well, this guy's going to eventually end up on the anti-establishment side. He's heading that way fast. He thinks he already is from a leftist point of view, but he just hasn't seen certain things yet. But he's questing for the truth, right? And if you do that, you'll eventually end up where we all end up. And at least in certain ways, you might not have the full picture, but you'll be in the same crew where you have access to the full picture if you want it. And so hold on. So many things he used to say, right, would be like, he would do this thing where he starts talking about what's good for kids and whatnot, but he wasn't a parent, right? So he didn't understand parenting. So he would also make judgments about things without really understanding, what parents do go through and so on, right? Sorry, I got these. I'm gonna fix this real quick. It's gonna drive me crazy if I don't. Okay, it's a little bit better, I guess. I didn't realize my glasses were so crooked. I guess we'll just go with this for now. All right, let's go with that for now. But I have to put things on the arms because they dig into my head after 3 hours. So it kind of sometimes it makes them kind of weird. But anyways, but I was excited. So he finally had a kid now. So now he's entering. I don't know if the kid has come yet or if it's almost there, but he's gonna enter that dad phase now where he wasn't there before, and he's getting ready to realize that all this shit he said is oh man, oh okay. That's the thing. It's you talk a lot before you're a parent, and then you become a parent, and then all the shit, half the shit you said wasn't even right. You didn't have the right perspective on it, and you didn't know, right? So so he's getting ready in that stage, and now he's gonna also, I think he's having a daughter, so he's gonna enter the protective dad stage. So it's gonna be really fun to watch him go through all this and all these things. And I'm glad he's making that decision. I hope he makes the decision about his water and food and other things like that too. I'm sure he is, right? Maybe about how clean you want to raise a kid. Maybe putting that schedule off till down the road, and then you realize, guess what? You really didn't. It really wasn't a big deal. To put off that schedule. Maybe, I think that he's already kind of getting there, right? So, but he actually is having his kid the same time I had mine, and he's gonna realize now. I told him, I used to tell him in comments, I was like, dude, don't wait. It's you're 35, 34, 35, 36 now, right? Or whatever, right? So don't wait, because because if you do, the second you have the kid, you're gonna wish you had more time, like I did. So don't wait. Let's do it. You already had money. Wow, dude, you had way more money than I did when I had a kid. Right? You had way more money, way more success, way more income. You had all kinds of shit going on for you, right? Before you did. Why not just do it? Spend more time doing that than playing really bad songs with Ian, who can't play guitar at all. Do that. So now he has one. So I'm real excited about that. I'm excited that he actually is taking the plunge. And now we're getting to see the transformation. So thanks for bringing that, Blue Lantern. I appreciate it. It'll be fun to watch together, right? It'll be fun to watch together. All right, let's get on to this, and I'll try to fix my freaking glasses while I'm doing it. Here we go.
Have any plans? With nice weather, everybody's out. It's Monday. We have another big week. On Wednesday, it will be Liberation Day in America, as President Trump has so proudly dubbed it. The cabinet will be here for the event. It'll be our first Rose Garden event of this administration. So you all will be invited to attend and cover this historic moment. The president will be announcing a tariff plan that will roll back the unfair trade practices that have been ripping off our country for decades. He's doing this in the best interest of the American worker. We also had great news that this morning on the border. Our Homeland Security team, our national security team, continues to do an incredibly effective job when it comes to deporting foreign terrorists from American soil. 17 Tren de Aragua and MS-13 illegal criminal terrorists were deported from our country back to El Salvador, and they will no longer ever be able to say they can roam free in this country under this president. These were convicted felons, murderers, rapists who are no longer in our country, and I think we should all be very grateful for that. I'll take some questions.
Is there anything these countries can do at this point to stave off these tariffs? And has the president decided on the scale and scope of these tariffs?
Well, I think, first of all, unfortunately, these countries have been ripping off our country for far too long, and they've made, I think, their disdain for the American worker quite clear. If you look at the unfair trade practices that we have, 50% from the European Union on American dairy, you have a 700% tariff from Japan on American rice, you have a 100% tariff from India on American agricultural products, you have nearly a 300% tariff from Canada on American butter and American cheese. This makes it virtually impossible for American products to be imported into these markets, and it has put a lot of Americans out of business and out of work over the past several decades. So it's time for reciprocity, and it's time for a president to take historic change to do what's right for the American people, and that's going to take place on Wednesday.
And what about the scope of them? He said yesterday he would be more generous. What does that mean?
I will let the president make the announcement on Wednesday, but it's certainly going to ensure that there's reciprocity and the American people are treated fairly.
Has the determined how many countries are going to see these reciprocal tariffs?
Again, I'll let the president get into the specifics of the announcement, but he has a brilliant team of trade advisors. You have Secretary Bessent, Secretary Lutnick, Jameson Greer, our U.S. Trade Representative, Peter Navarro, of course, and Kevin Hassett here at the White House, Stephen Miller as well. The Vice President has been deeply involved in these conversations. All of these individuals have presented plans to the president on how to get this done, and it's the president's decision to make, and we will not get ahead of him on the specifics of the announcement.
And how does the stock market sell-off cause the White House to rethink any of these plans?
The president has always said that the stock market is a snapshot of a moment in time, and he's doing what's best for Main Street, and Wall Street will work out just fine in this administration, just like they did in their first term.
As you said last week, Caroline, you said would be an investigation or a review into how Jeffrey Wolford's number got on that group chat. What's the status of that review, and what is the status of National Security Advisor Mike Waltz?
As the president has made it very clear, Mike Waltz continues to be an important part of his national security team, and this case has been closed here at the White House as far as we are concerned. There have been steps made to ensure that something like that can obviously never happen again, and we're moving forward. And the president and Mike Waltz and his entire national security team have been working together very well. If you look at how much safer the United States of America is because of the leadership of this team.
About the tariffs, are there going to be sector by sector announcements this week at the event you're alluding to? Do you think focusing on sectors or country-based tariffs?
The goal of Wednesday are country-based tariffs, but certainly sectoral tariffs. The president has said he's committed to impleting them, and I'll leave it to him on when he makes that decision and that announcement. Sure.
Does President Trump still plan to talk to President Putin this week, and if so, when?
I don't have a readout for you on that call, but as a
that guy looks like he's got a disc. Like you remember that disc man, the disc cameras.
First, especially for big.
I know it's a phone, but just saying.
No exemptions at this time.
Caroline, the validation guide that DHS is using to determine who is an enemy alien, a Trinidad member, and deportable under the enemy.
We're using the tattoo method.
Has criteria here that require
and the fingerprint method
to be classified as a TDA member. You can get classified by simply having certain symbols in your tattoos and wearing certain streetwear brands. That alone is enough to get someone classified as TDA.
Yeah, so here's a pro tip. Don't have those symbols in your tattoos and don't dress that way. All right? Pro tip.
El Salvador.
That's not true, actually, Andrew.
According to this document, it is.
No, according to the Department of Homeland Security and the agents. Have you talked to the agents who have been putting their lives on the line?
I would be okay if it was that way, honestly.
To detain these foreign terrorists.
Oh man, I just happen to have gang symbols on and dress like a El Salvadorian Venezuelan gang member. I just happen to do that. That's the way I like to express myself. I don't want to be a part of it, but I just want to have that on and be that way, right? That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Who have been terrorizing our communities. TDA is a vicious gang that has taken the lives of American women. And our agents on the front lines take deporting these people with the utmost seriousness. And there is a litany of criteria that they use to ensure that these individuals qualify as foreign terrorists and to ensure that they qualify for deportation. And the president made it incredibly clear to the American public that there would be a mass deportation campaign of not just foreign terrorists, but also illegal criminal aliens who have been wreaking havoc on American communities. And shame on you and shame on the mainstream media for trying to cover for these individuals who have. This is a vicious gang. This is a vicious gang that has taken the lives of American women.
Don't talk over her.
And you said yourself there are 8 criteria on that document.
They need 8 points.
And you are questioning the credibility of these agents who are putting their life on the line to protect your life and the life of everybody in this group and everybody across the country. And their credibility should be questioned. They finally have a president who is allowing them to do their jobs, and God bless them for doing it.
Yep, that's right. Now go sit down, Andrew, and think about what you've done.
Look, you guys continue to ask the president this question about a third term, and then he answers honestly and candidly with a smile, and then everybody here melts down about his answer. The president was talked about this last night on the plane. He said, it's not really something we're thinking about. He has 4 years. There's a lot of work to do. We've done a lot in these nearly first 100 days, and the American people love what this president is doing, particularly when it comes to efforts to secure the border.
How confident is President Trump in that he can get a peace deal done in Ukraine? How confident is President Trump
that you can get a peace deal done in Ukraine?
Well, look, the president is working incredibly hard to get a peace deal done between Russia and Ukraine. And he has expressed his displeasure with comments that have been made by leaders of both sides of this conflict. He has expressed what he believes needs to take place in order to see this conflict come to an end. He continues to work very hard on it, and our teams continue to be engaged.
Caroline, countries that don't have tariffs on the US but may have other forms of non-tariff trade barriers, I'm thinking in my case of Australia, can they expect to be hit on in Wednesday's announcement, or can they expect to be left out and dealt with another time?
Again, I'll let the president make the announcement on Wednesday, but I think any country that has treated the American people unfairly should expect to receive a tariff in return on Wednesday.
Caroline, you talked about the European Union. Is the president expected to impose those tariffs in blocks, or will he distinguish countries within those trading blocks?
Again, I will let the president get into the specifics of the announcement. It's his announcement to make. It's going to be very exciting. We'll see you guys in the Rose Garden, and you will also hear directly from the president if you have any lingering questions. 5:30 this afternoon or evening, rather, although it's really afternoon for us. That's about midday for this president because he works all night. But he'll be signing an executive order. It will be the in-house pool in the Oval Office, and we'll see you.
All right. Yep. We'll see it then. Thank you so much, Caroline, for that lovely report. Okay. So there you go. That's Liberation Day, and that's just more people being idiots in the press corps. Thank God it's not as bad as it used to be. Thank God it's not as bad as it used to be. All right. So where are we at here? We're at the 2 hours mark. Okay, we're getting ready to shift gears into our presser mode here. Do I have any other news for today that I need to talk about? I think that I did have this, but man, it's not. I could just easily do that tomorrow or Thursday. Yeah, I could do that tomorrow. I'm gonna be broken down better. All right, I'm just talking out loud. I do that sometimes when I'm thinking. Thank you guys so much for all the interaction in the chat tonight, and thank you to those who have super chatted. Your support is greatly appreciated, especially in these trying times. It is April. Well, you guys know how the payout system works here, but it's like whatever you do this month, you get paid next month. So it's like you're always kind of working for the next month. And May is a busy month. I got birthdays going on that month. Important people. Let's see. Can't get over that dress. Let's talk about the dress because was it terrible? What was wrong with it? It looks like she's kind of growing out of it. I felt like she was growing out of that dress. It reminded me of a nice spring dress. It looked very form-fitting. I would say form-fitting. Here, hold on. Let's back it up a little bit. Get a good look at the side here. Now it's like you got this side view, and it's almost like you got this. Look at that. Is it built-in cleavage, or is she just doing the work? She just doing the work. It looks very padded and stiff. But let's get this side. Yeah, there you go. And it's like it's just trying to hang in there. Is she just busting out of that thing or what? Wrong day to be wearing that dress. Wrong booby dress for today. Maybe she just needs to cut a window in there or something. I don't know. It looks like it needs some help. But I mean, it looks like I don't know. There's a lot of padding or a lot of breast in there, but something's going on. See, I was noticing these things right here, the way it's kind of stretched out and like right here. And I was just wondering if that was like, supposed to be that way, or if that was just because, it's not fitting as well as it used to. I don't know. What do you guys think? Window is a good idea? Probably. I mean, it's springtime. It's, very strapped in. Yeah, very condensed. And it's a sports bra. See, these are the things I don't know. She needs to go up a size and get it tailored from the waist down. There we go. See, I knew Shelly would know. Let's see. I wonder if it's from the derogatory comments the bots have been saying about her body. What are the bots or the bots? They don't know what they're talking about. The bust. We must increase the bust. All right. Okay, so where are we at here? I was making a decision about what to do next. I think we'll just go ahead and move into unless I can think of anything that comes in here later. I think I'll just move into the next segment here. I feel like there's something missing. Hold on. I feel like there's like some short one-offs, like from Trump talking about this or that. We did that. Man, sometimes things get put on the wrong list, and I'm like, I knew there was something here. I'll have to check it out. Let's see. That. Check. Wait. Yeah, we could probably do that and just maybe make it a little bit earlier overnight. Let me see. Did I put something in here by accident? If you don't know, I got a lot of different playlists that I work with, and sometimes things get mixed up. This is the way it goes. Oh, I can't wait to show you guys that. It's going to be next Monday night. I found this great piece for the bonus content segment. It's called "You're in a War and You Don't Even Know It." You know, that's one of my favorite topics too. So we'll be going through that next Monday night. Let's see. Happy Liberation Eve to you, Blue Lantern. It is a day of celebration. We'll be liberated soon. I mean, listen to her rundown. Let me go and check out the this one site here. Listen to her run down the run down all those tariffs that are on us, right? Making it impossible for us to do business there. And, you know, people got a problem with that. I mean, it's like, that's the information they're being held back from, right? Like, why would that be a thing? These are all long form. I think if we just get to the press conference, it'll be in there. But I feel like they are just talking about the same thing the entire time. Okay, we'll just do it. We'll do it. I can always pivot after if I need to. Just open that up. Oh, here we go. All right, got it. All right, here we go. We're all good. We're moving along. Things are going great. Everybody's having a good time. And I'm pulling this right here because now it's time for Kid Rock. You guys ready, Kid Rock? Yes, that's right. Kid Rock, in case you didn't know, was in the Oval Office very modestly there. You barely noticed him. Honestly, you barely noticed him that he was there. He did say a few words because Trump is signing an anti-scalping, if I understand it right, an anti-scalping executive order that's going to help every musician out there. Probably a lot of them like, it makes ticket prices. It's going to help the people who like to go to shows too, and not just music shows, right? But other types of entertainment as a ticketing system, right? I'll let them do most explaining here because we can have a nice little session with these two characters together. But again, so you can barely notice Kid Rock. You know, you have to kind of look really hard to find him, and he might have a few things to say. Those bots, they're awful, man. They're awful. They're from China, other places, man. You know, it's all they think we're so dumb we fall for it. We can see the bots. We've become very sophisticated. Yeah, he's you know, you might just look for him, right? Because you have to kind of really look for him here to figure out he's just modestly hanging out in the Oval Office. So let's go ahead and get it started. And here we make sure I got turned up. All right. So again, if you need help, I'll point it out where he is. But just here we go.
You all set? So it's an honor to have you back. A friend of mine, Kid Rock, sometimes referred to as Bob. I know him as Bob, but he's been a good friend for a long time, many years. And he's been after something that is for the good of a lot of people, including in particular the public, and having to do with ticket sales.
Barely noticed he's there.
And all of the gouging that you have been reading about. It's gotten worse and worse with time. And I didn't know too much about it, but I checked it out, and it is a big problem. And I thought
you can always
we've
get
been
free
trying to get this
tickets.
done for 20 years or something. He said Trump got it done in 2 weeks. But we came up with a very serious EO, And I'm going to sign it now, and maybe I'll ask you, Will, to explain a little bit about it, please.
Of course, sir. So this is an executive order, as you said, that deals with the ticket reselling business. For fans of live entertainment and for entertainers as well, the ticket reselling industry has become a huge issue. These people use bots and computer algorithms to buy up huge blocks of tickets and then jack up the price so that fans of live entertainers like Mr. Ritchie, I almost called him Mr. Rock, don't have access to concerts the way that they should. And when they do, it's at exorbitantly high prices. So what this executive order does, it charges the FTC and the Department of Justice with rigorously enforcing laws on the books in collaboration with state attorneys general that have power over consumer protection and other people who have the power to really crack down on this issue so that entertainers and fans won't be subject to these abusive and oftentimes illegal practices.
Good. Thank you very much. Bob, do you want to say something?
Yeah, anybody who's, it doesn't matter your politics. First off, thank you, Mr. President, because this has happened at lightning speed. I know you put, I want to make sure Alina Habba gets her credit too, because I know she worked very hard on this, but thank you for making this happen so quick. Anyone who's bought a concert ticket in the last decade, maybe 20 years, no matter what your politics are, knows that it's a
concert,
you buy a ticket for $100,
entertainment,
by the time you
sports.
check out, it's 170. You don't know what you can charge for, but more importantly, these bots, you know, they come in to get all the good tickets to your favorite shows you want to go to, and then they're relisted immediately for sometimes a 400 or 500% markup. And the artists don't see any of that money. And, you know, ultimately, I think this is a great first step. I would love down the road if there'd be some legislation that we could actually put a cap on the resale of tickets. And I'm a capitalist and a deregulation guy, but they've tried this in some places in Europe, and it seems to be the only thing that's us as artists be able to get the tickets into the hands of the fans at the prices we set. I'll be the first one to say, and I know the president doesn't like when I say this, but I'm a little overpaid right now. It's kind of ridiculous. I would rather be, you know, adhere up to working class people and have them be able to come attend my shows and give them a fair ticket price. I can't control that right now. So hopefully this is a step to be able to make that happen. I know a lot of artists and a lot of fans who love concerts and music are going to be very appreciative.
And I think Bob is more interested in the fans and the people that are having to pay crazy prices than he is the artist. Maybe the artist a little bit, but the fans a lot. I've spoken to him
cowboy, baby.
about it. And it's been, it bothers him. It bothers a lot of other artists. So see the artists, and they go out with $100 ticket and it sells for $2,000 the following night. And they seem to be able to sweep up the best locations too, which is pretty amazing. So
they've only enforced that box act one time, I believe. A couple of years ago in New York City, I think we got a $2 million fine. And that's the only time they've enforced that act.
And who's the primary culprit? Who sells these tickets?
It's the scalpers. It's these bots go in and they're automated. So
What is there a company involved? You might not.
No, well, there's reselling markets. Yeah.
I think I know, Peter. But that's all right. Don't get them involved. Maybe they're more innocent than we think. Yeah.
Well, if you think of it, like if Ticketmaster sells a ticket, if you buy a ticket and go to a show, you're in a lot of ways their worst customer. They make another 17, whatever percentage every time that ticket resells. So they don't want to enforce the bots act necessarily because they're making more money off it. The artists don't see any of that money, but that's not what I'm advocating for. Is for me to make more money. I want the fans to have fair ticket prices, be able to go and enjoy more shows. I know people that can only, they decide on a family vacation, they're going to their favorite concert once a year rather than, you know, my parents used to go see multiple shows when you could afford them back in their day. And I'd like to take my ticket prices lower, but if I set my ticket prices low, these bots immediately eat them up and they resell for hundreds of dollars more. And I'm just making these bad actors rich.
Well, I think this is a big step to getting it stopped.
Yeah.
Something, right?
Yeah, I do.
And you know, there's a lot of TDS musicians out there that aren't even appreciating this right now, and they'll find a way to hate it. They'll, what about the scalpers, right? But at the same time, it's ruining their shows too. It's ruining their experiences, and it's not. This isn't just for music. Like I said, like WWE, NFL, NBA, baseball. I mean, whatever, man. There's always people that are using these methods to swipe up the seats, the good seats, and jack up the prices, and make money off people. Like it's always happening. So this isn't just music. I don't think there's no way this is just music. It's ticket prices and scalping span all kinds of industries, not just music. But this is a great thing. And so many of the like whiny crybaby TDS brainwashed or programmed establishment narrative confined belief system musicians that are out there. And there's a lot of them. All right. There's a lot of them. And because they're artists, they're super emotional and they can't control themselves. Right. There's a lot of them out there running their mouths on a daily basis. They, won't even realize what's going on here and how this helps them. Right. It's kind of like a lot of them are also, have to wait tables or do another service job, or they get tips and they don't want to get taxed on tips. They don't realize how much Trump's already helping them, right? And they won't have the bananas in their ears. They won't listen to all these great things that he's doing for them. This helps everybody, and it helps people that enjoy going to see live events, right? It helps them afford the tickets. It helps them get the good seats and have good experiences and build good memories in places they want to be with people they want to be with, right? This is what it's all about. So this is a great thing. This is a very cultural thing as well, man. Taking the grift out of the culture, right? Bringing back the joy and the accessibility for people to go to events. Man, some of these events I'd like to go to are just so damn expensive these days. I don't want to go see a concert anymore, but I would like, there's like other things I like to do. Even football games or wrestling matches or whatever, they cost money. They're expensive to get tickets in good places, man. You want them. And I can sometimes when things are going really good, I can afford a little bit better of a ticket, for a little bit better of an experience, or experience crafted the way I want it to be, and when you go to things go on sale and all of a sudden they're gone, and the only place you can find them is a scalper, that sucks. And a lot of the bands I used to go watch, they sold their tickets sold out in minutes. Like they're for their tour. Like their big New Year's Eve run, something like that. Tickets sell out in minutes. You got to be up and awake and ready to go. And that's just diehard fans begging it down, right? And not to mention the bots going first, the calls going first. They all hit it first. So we're literally waking up early to fight bots to get tickets to things that we want to be at before they sell out. Like New Year's Eve, big deal, or something like that, Halloween, big deal. That's back. I'm just going back in time here, back in my show going days, right? So we have to fight the ticket bots to get, even in the door. Sometimes you might, oh my God, did you get it? Did you get it? We got this, we got that. We'd all be looking out for each other, trying to make sure everybody got that. Our crew that was going to go to these events together all got in, and then we could all hopefully be near each other, or share the moments with each other, right? So this is a great thing, and there's a lot of TDS out there that's not going to even understand how much it's going to benefit them, whether it be the show goers or the people who do the shows, right?
I actually feel that the consumer is going to take the money that they saved and actually buy merch, which you guys have a big percentage of, or do concessions, which you guys split with the venue on that as well. So I think their money goes for concessions.
Nope. Nope. See, I said it before Kid Rock did. Nope. They're going to share their concessions with you, man. What are you talking about? Oh, you get a cut of that too. What do you think? You're playing a bar gig? What are you down the street? You down the street at Dive Bar Central? No, man. Hey, Cotab, 1, 2, 3, another Canadian in the house. What's going on? Big love to you too, my man. How have you been? Good to see you, dude. Good to see you. We actually, I'm going to tell you the same thing I was telling others that I stopped by, and we did a great show last night on Unread the Game, the bonus content section of the show, which is at the end. It's over on Rumble. We did this. I did some analysis on the three collapsing. The three collapse is similar. What is it? I have to always go back and look at it. I think I remember it by now. But I don't mind because it's so good. I was like, you gotta go check this out because it talks about Canada, it talks about UK and Australia, and it talks about managed demise, right? So that how your officials are actually orchestrating the demise and why they're doing it, and it goes into a bunch of similarities that happen from here in the US to Canada to Australia to UK, and I think you would really dig it, man. So you can watch my take on it, or just go watch the video. It's called it's in my War and Warriors playlist. It's called 3 Nations, Same Collapse. The Truth is Worse Than You Think. It's by the Cyberpunk Dingo, an Australian. It's about 20 minutes long. It's like, I did my take on it. If you want to watch it, it's at the end of my last night's show on Rumble, not on YouTube, because it only goes for an hour on YouTube. Or you can just go to the channel and watch it. I think you'd dig it. You'd like the content and you get off on it. But hey, man, good to see you. How's it been going? I hope you're surviving as well out there in the Great White North. And you're staying warm as you possibly can be. And it's great to see you, my friend. Great to see you. Winnie, do you remember HFS Tibble? No, I don't. They'd find a way to hate him, cursing cancer curing cancer. Oh, he only did it because he wants people to like him. Oh yeah, or so he can be in charge of it and make money or something. Yeah, they would find some way for something good to happen to take it away from him. Okay. All right, let's get back to this this here. Yeah, you don't get concessions, bro. You don't get concessions, and they'll take a cut of your merch, right? They'll take a cut of your merch if they let you sell it. But the most places do. But they'll take like 10, 15, 20% of your merch sales.
A lot. No, those are, we try to, but they don't want to share it in the beer prices and parking or any of that stuff. But the bottom line is there's money for everyone to be made. There's plenty of money to go around. No one's going to really lose here. Ticketmaster.
I mean, sometimes, right? Sometimes, not 100% on the merch thing. A lot of times you can just hang on to that yourself. But some places do insist. I would think someone like Kid Rock would be like, screw you, then I ain't playing. They're like, no, Mr. Richie, it's just fine. Well, you can keep all your merchandise. And he goes, yeah, damn right I can. But yeah, they ain't gonna share their beer money with you, and they ain't gonna share the popcorn money with you.
Get a cap. They're going to lose some money, but I've already talked to CEO Michael. He's given me his word. He's on board for it.
I was talking to Jacoby with Papa Roach earlier, and by the way, he's a big fan of what you're doing, President Trump, digging into
name dropping,
this whole scalping and the bots.
I'm good friends with Papa Roach, by the way.
They're with Kid Rock, sir.
I'm just dropping his name here
A
in the press conference in front of Trump and Kid Rock.
Wear a jacket like that?
Kid Rock's like, yeah, okay.
Thinking about doing it for tomorrow. We have a big event coming up, and I was thinking about doing it, but I'm not sure.
So you recently bought a Tesla for White House staff to use, but now there's all these domestic terrorists targeting Teslas. Are the staff scared to try it?
I don't think so. I haven't heard. They were complaining. I did buy one, and I let the staff use it. We have it parked conveniently. One day we give it to Margot.
He bought a Plaid too. He bought a Plaid too. The Plaid's the one that goes from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. That's the one he bought.
Natalie, we give it to everybody around. Give it to Dan Scavino, but he's got so much money it doesn't matter. But they love the car, and it's a great car, and it's made here. It's made in the country. He's got a tremendous plant now in Texas, and he has one in California. Does a lot of his work here, and he's been really unfairly treated, in my opinion.
I drive one.
Yeah.
There's this other story. I know it's hypothetical right now, but if you were allowed for some reason to run for a third term, is there a thought that the Democrats could try to run Barack Obama against you?
I'd love that.
No.
I'd love that.
No, but no, see, that's completely wrong. The whole premise, and that would be great though. It really would be the fight for, the ideological fight of the century. But no. See, the only reason that they're saying Trump could possibly have a third term is because he's serving 2 non-consecutive terms. Barack Obama served consecutive terms, so he would not be entitled to a third term. However, it's just a thing. I doubt it's going to happen, and I doubt very highly that Trump would even want to do it at that point. I think he would be like, well, I could totally help support somebody else and do something else, right? I think at that point he may want to be able to hand the reins off and just kind of maybe people be like, well, he's going to drive it from the back seat, right? He's going to be puppeting JD Vance. He doesn't want that either, but he could be a great supporter, and he certainly should stay involved after his term is over, no matter who comes next. Kotab 123. I'll be starting my podcast back up shortly, like 2 to 3 weeks, give or take a week or so. Much love, winning. Just stop to show some love to the channel and chat, drop a like, comment, the algorithm. Thank you so much, Kotab. I'm glad to hear that you're going to be back at it. I've been looking for you guys, and I haven't seen you guys around, but it's good to hear that you're going to be starting up your podcast again. And I'll keep an eye out for it and come by when you get it going on. All right, but you come on by any old time and hang out, man. We love it when you're here. And best of luck with that. And thank you again for coming by and for the like and all that fun stuff. Okay. All right. See you soon, dude. There you go. There you go. There you go. Right there. Kotab 123 from the Great White North. All right. There we go.
That would be a good one. I'd like that. I know people are asking me to run, and there's a whole story about running for a third term. I don't know. I never looked into it. They do say there's a way you can do it, but I don't know about that. But I have not looked into it. I want to do a fantastic job. We have 4 years, just about almost close to 4 years. Time is flying, but it's still close to 4 years. And we're getting a lot of credit for having done a great job in the first almost 100 days. And we have some big things we're going to be announcing over the next 2 days that you know very well, Peter. And I think it's going to be something that's
Can't
going to bring
wait.
a
What
lot
is
of
it
wealth
gonna
back
be?
to our country, tremendous wealth back to our country, actually. And other countries are understanding it because they've been ripping us for 50 years longer, but they've been ripping us off for years, right from the beginning. And I think this is going to be an amazing, I call it a lot of different names, but it's really, in a sense, it's a rebirth of a country because how we could have afforded to do what we did. We helped everybody and they don't help us. I really, the term I like best probably is the liberation of America. It's the liberation of this country because it's incredible. Look, we have 36 trillion in debt for a reason, and that accumulates over a long period of time. So I think what you're going to be seeing over the next couple of days will be very inspiring to a lot of people. They had a lot of auto plants being built in a certain country. I don't want to mention the country because we get along great with the country, but those plants aren't being built there anymore. They gave them up today and yesterday, day before, and they're building them all now in the United States. And we have many examples, not only auto plants, chip companies from Taiwan are coming in. The biggest, Mr. Wei, he's big.
Mr. Wei,
Smart
big
guy,
Wei.
I've been
He's
reading
coming.
about him
He's coming
over
in
the
a big
years.
way.
He controls a large portion of the chip business, as you know. You don't get smarter.
the
They're going to be
chip.
investing $200 or $300 billion. Apple's investing $500 billion. They always built their places in China. Now he's building here. I think because of you speak to Tim Cook, because of the election, but maybe more importantly, because of the tariffs.
I remember. What's up? Good to
An
see
obligation to do it.
ya.
We have many, many companies that you haven't even heard of, but I think we'll be at $5 trillion very soon.
Voters
And if you
ID
think about
passed
this,
with Democrats.
we've never
Mike
been anywhere
McCourt.
near that. I don't know if we've ever been at $1 trillion.
Oh, is that out in Wisconsin?
500. What do I mean by trillion?
You're out in Wisconsin, aren't you?
I think that we're going to be at $5 trillion.
I was asking about that earlier.
I think you're going to have investments very shortly. We're already 3.5, and we have commitments, verbal
You gonna
commitments.
sing a
for lot
song
more.
for us, Kid Rock?
And numbers like that have never been done in this country. And it's going to get harder. This is in 2 months. It's really in less than 2 months because since we've really gone out with it. And we have other interesting things happening. But to me, the whole tariff situation, and essentially they've done that to us for many years. So if we're anywhere near 5 trillion in 2 months, this could be numbers like the country's never seen. And every time you hear a dollar spent, that's another job because the jobs are coming with it. So auto plants, chip plants, pharmaceuticals, lumber coming in.
I mean, dude, they should have they should have done a song. They should have had the music play and then Kid Rock can just sing it, and Trump could get up and dance like as he's rapping. That would have been awesome. That would have been great. That would have been the way to do it, right? That would have been like they're making a mockery of the Oval Office. No, they're having a good time, dude. Take the stick out of your ass. You're having a good time, man.
Things happening in this country. I'm not sure that they've ever seen it. Steel. We have tariffs on steel. They've been here for a while. Steel and aluminum.
Sweet.
Nobody's ever seen anything like we're witnessing now. Nobody's ever seen. I think most of you agree with that. I mean, it's nothing much you can't agree with. We have things happening in terms of jobs and investment, the likes of which I don't think we've ever seen. If you look at, let's say, $4 to $5 trillion in a period of a month and a half, that's even more than you do with your concerts, which are always sold out, right? Nobody's ever seen numbers. And think of it, where Apple's at 500 billion, as I said, but they always used to spend that money in China. Now they're spending it here. That means you're going to build. Now, they don't have any tariffs. Remember, there are no tariffs if you do your product here, if you build whatever it is in the USA. One of the things we're also trying to get is if you buy a car that was built in the USA, you get a deduction on interest. So if you go out and borrow money to buy a car, if it's built in the USA, never been done before. It's a big deduction for people that really aren't used to deductions, frankly.
No, is that buying a new
People that
car?
buy cars like that are not big into
Or
the
any
world
car?
of deductions. And now they're going to learn about deductions. So I think it's going to be great. Yeah.
President, are you going to move ahead with a universal tariff or different individual tariff rates on a whole variety of different?
Well, you're going to see in 2 days, which is maybe tomorrow night or probably Wednesday. You're going to
Wednesday,
see.
it
They're
is.
reciprocal. So whatever they charge us, we charge them. But we're
Liberation
being
Day.
nicer than they were. We have a lot of countries, friend and foe. I always say friend and foe, but the friend in many cases is worse than the foe. They took advantage of us. And we are going to be very nice by comparison to what they were. The numbers will be lower than what they've been charging us. And in some cases, maybe substantially lower, but we sort of have a world obligation perhaps. But we're going to be very nice. Relatively speaking, we're going to be very kind.
Mr. President, you met with the chairman.
Somebody said that about me the other day. He said, who doesn't know me very well, they said, you're such a kind person. And I said, say that again. They said, you're a kind person. I said, I've never heard that before. It was a weird statement. I was kind.
Who said that?
I've heard of words that I don't know, I better not tell you. I've heard I've been called a lot of things, but it's sort of a different kind of a word. It's like an old-fashioned word, isn't it?
Mr. President, you met with the chairman of Stellantis today. Did
Yes.
he ask you for a pause on the auto
Stellantis?
tariffs?
No.
What was that meeting about?
Just about some of the problems they have with the environmental, which we're going to clean up.
Have any of the automakers?
We're going to probably go back to 1920. If you look, we're going to go back probably to a 2020 standard. So we'll have 2020 standard, and that's just a few years ago. Oh, they're making it so difficult all over the world. It doesn't mean a damn bit of difference even for the environment. It doesn't matter. They make it impossible for people
Always.
to build cars.
It's about
we're gonna
resource
be doing
control.
Much different. 2020 is a strong standard.
It's about
They
muddying
take
up
it
the
to a level
works,
now that
slowing
makes it
things
very
down,
difficult to build a
creating
car. So
scarcity,
we're going to be
hindering
bringing it back to
surplus.
a standard that is a very good environmental standard, but it makes it possible to build a car.
Have you heard any concerns from the automakers, though, about the tariffs on parts that will go into effect over the coming weeks,
They-
about
they
what that's
all
going to
do.
mean for the price of
Well, I gave them a
American-made
big
cars?
break for a month. I didn't charge them anything, for a big month, for that first month. And they brought a lot of material into this country because they could bring it in without tariff. If you look at Canada and Mexico, they were driving hundreds of thousands of cars into the market because they avoid the tariffs by doing it before the tariffs go on, which would be Wednesday. And I looked at I saw some of your shows where cars are lined up for miles and miles. Some of them didn't have fenders on them. Some of them didn't have the roof on yet. They're driving it in brand new. They're driving it in because they want to avoid the tariffs. I let them have that. They sort of took advantage of it because, that wasn't part of the deal, but that's okay.
Are there any
They're
countries-
great American car companies and car companies.
They started driving in cars that weren't finished to finish them here to avoid the tariffs.
And so I gave them a little break.
Leather
Are
girl.
there any countries that you're not targeting on Wednesday?
Well, it depends.
America.
I said it's reciprocal. Not everybody has
Give the smart ass
made a
answer.
fortune, but almost everybody has, but not everybody. And the ones that haven't, we're going to be very nice to them.
Very nice.
Because that word reciprocal is very important.
Mhm.
What they do to us, we do to them. Okay.
Can I just ask you briefly on President Putin? You said over the weekend or indicated over the weekend some frustration with him.
Hell yeah.
How serious are you about imposing oil sanctions on
No, I
Russian
want
oil?
to see him make a deal so that we stop Russian soldiers and Ukrainian soldiers and other people from being killed. But mostly it's Russian and Ukrainian soldiers. They're losing at least 2,500 human beings, beautiful human beings, a week. And I want to just stop. And some people would say, why do you worry about Russian soldiers or Ukrainian soldiers? I worry because they're just like you people. They're like us. They're like all of us.
Mhm.
And I seem to have an ability to do those things. And if I can do that, I think it's a very worthwhile thing to do. And I think we will. No, I want to make sure that he follows through, and I think he will. I don't want to go secondary tariffs on his oil, but I think, it's something I would do if I thought he wasn't doing the job. I did it with Venezuela, secondary tariffs.
Sure
And you know what
did.
happened? Every boat left the harbor. Did you see that? It was a beautiful thing to see. The whole harbor emptied out. My words weren't even finished. I have these massive ships. They're actually taking the hoses and dumping them into there. They couldn't get out of there fast enough because they know I don't play games. So I think he's going to live up to what he told
They
me.
know
I
he's a
think
man of his
going
word.
to,
And he ain't full of shit.
fulfill his
That's right.
part of the deal. Now, then you have Zelensky, and hopefully he's going to live up. I see he's trying to renegotiate the rare earth. We did something because, as you know, the Europeans get paid back the money that they gave, and we don't because Biden is an incompetent president.
Yep.
And he should have asked for rare earth, or he should have asked for the loans to be guaranteed in some form. That's what
Mhm.
Europe did. Europe is in for probably $100 billion, and we're in for 350 billion. So we're in for more than 3 times. And now you could make it a little bit less than that, but it doesn't matter. Whatever the number, we're in for substantially more than Europe. We could be in for 350 billion. They have no idea because Biden wasn't a good bookkeeper except for himself. And what happens is we made a deal
Shenanigans.
for rare earth. It was all done. And I
Ah.
heard through you, I haven't spoken to them yet, but through you, I heard that they're now saying, well, I'll only do that deal if we get into NATO or something to that effect. Well, that was never, number one, discussed. Number two, I
What?
think it's going to be very long before Putin. They
Did
said
he
you're not
say
going
he
into
said I'd only do that if I get into NATO?
NATO. And it could be, that's probably the reason the war started, actually.
Yeah.
We're hours away from a very special election.
They've been very
Wisconsin,
clear
Florida.
about
I want to
that.
share your thoughts on Republican voters to not sleep on this. These
Yeah.
are 2 very important races to go.
Well, it's a big race, Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. It's taking place essentially as was early voting.
Okay, you say it looks like he won, or did he? Or did the establishment useful idiot judge win, or no, yes? Is there people calling shenanigans on it? What's the deal, yo?
So we'll see what happens. It's a big race. I love Wisconsin. We won Wisconsin. Republicans typically don't do very well in Wisconsin, but I did. I actually won it twice. I actually probably won it 3 times to be exact.
They played
Yep.
Not probably. I won it 3 times.
You won it 3 times.
We had a rigged election the second time, but that's, one of those things. We had to make this one too big to rig. as each. Would you agree with that, Brian?
Yes,
Too big to
sir.
rig?
Yes, sir.
So anyway, but yeah, there's a big race, and I hope you get out and vote for the Republican. The woman is a radical left lunatic. And,
Susan
She
Crawford.
wins, but the woman will be very bad. And you know, Wisconsin's a big state politically, and the Supreme Court has a lot to do with elections in Wisconsin. So if whoever it is that's running, including you know even Senate races, etc., but whoever it is in 4 years that runs, having Wisconsin is a very big. You know, we won it early and big, but winning Wisconsin's a big deal. So therefore, the Supreme Court choice is the one you're talking about right now. It's a big race. It's going to be announced fairly shortly.
President Trump, on TikTok, big week deadlines.
You know, the news about this got a little bit too slow. I mean, we're hearing about it on the day of. I guess they've been talking. I guess this was yesterday, so maybe talk about it the day before. But this is what I'm talking about. We can't give any ground. We can't give any ground. There's little things like this happen. They get little wins back. It affects elections here. We got slim majority here. You know, we can't give it back. We have to keep the too big to rig mentality going, right? We don't get to sleep on it. We don't get to say, oh, we would Trump won. We can all go back to sleep. Everything's gonna be fine. Roscoe Treat, what is up? Good to see you. Good to see you. It's been a while, man. I'm glad. We're happy to see you back. Happy to see you back, man. Hope you're doing well.
We got Liberation Day and the TikTok deadline.
Yeah,
There we go.
Which I can extend if I want, but we have a lot of enthusiasm for TikTok for buying it. I think TikTok is good. I used it I was a great TikTok guy, and we won by 36 points. The youth, you know, we won the youth, which Republicans don't do. Maybe it's because Kid Rock likes Trump. I don't know, but we won the youth by 36 points, and I attribute some of that to TikTok.
Is the TikTok deal, the negotiations now, tied to a bigger tariff deal with China?
No, but you know, it could be. I mean, you know, I've used tariffs for lots of different reasons, but I could see, you know, 1 point in tariffs with China, a big country, would be probably worth more than all of TikTok, as valuable as TikTok is. It's big stuff. So there's a great example. That's a great question, actually. I'm a very flexible person. I could use that for that. Maybe I'll take a couple of points off if I get approvals for something. I haven't done it. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. But it's a very good question. Peter, you're very good.
Thank you. You'll love this one.
Go ahead.
It's not front page news, but I'm just curious. What is your thought about Tiger Woods now becoming part of the broader Trump family?
Well, I love Tiger and I love Vanessa, and they had a great relationship. I happen to think the relationship with my son, I happen to think the relationship was hurt very badly by the witch hunt that went on, Russia, and all the crap that they put Don through, who knew nothing about it. But Vanessa and Don had a very good relationship. They have incredible children, 5 incredible children, all good athletes, all great students, they're like great. And they broke up, you know, quite a while ago, and which was to me very sad because I think they're both great, Don and Vanessa. And Tiger actually called me a few months ago, and they have a very special, very good relationship with Tiger. I played golf with him a couple of times over the last month, and he's a fantastic guy and a fantastic athlete. And he told me about it, and I said, Tiger, that's good. That's good. I'm very happy for both. I just let them both be happy. Let them both be happy. They're both great.
I did not know about that. So Tiger Woods is dating Don Jr.'s ex. Okay, that's the one. Okay, so he had a family. They broke up, and now his ex is dating Tiger Woods or going to marry Tiger Woods. That's what's wild. That is wild. Oh yeah, check it out. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for the super chat. $5 super chat, talking trash and truth. Of course, she has her own special clip there. Excellent stream tonight. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. And thank you for your support. $5 super chat. I appreciate your generosity as always. And it really does help so much. So guys, thank you so much for your contributions, especially in these trying times. All right. The trying times of the working man. Here we go.
To follow up on China, China, South Korea, and Japan say they're going to work together in cooperation to respond to the tariffs that you're going to put into effect this week. Are you concerned that this move with the tariffs this week could push some of the United States' closest allies to work with China?
No, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. Yeah.
Mr. President, can I ask you
I
about
think they have a
something?
chance of doing better, actually, with the tariffs. It can actually help them in a certain way. And I think a lot of them will drop their tariffs because, you know, they've been unfairly tariffing.
That's an original
in the United
song.
States for years. And if you look at the European Union on cars, the European Union already dropped their tariff down to 2.5%. It was announced a couple of days ago. which is what which is a very small tariff. The United States charged very little. And I think I heard that India just a little while ago is going to be dropping its tariffs very substantially. And I said, why didn't somebody do this a long time ago? A lot of countries are going to be dropping their tariffs.
That's also going to happen in France today, Mr. President. Marine Le Pen, the far-right leader, got convicted in court and is now banned from running for office for 5 years.
This part.
That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. I know all about it, and a lot of people thought she wasn't
That was a
going to be
clip I played
convicted of
earlier.
anything, and I don't know if it means conviction, but she was banned for running for 5 years, and she's the leading candidate. That sounds like this country. That sounds very much like this country. Okay, anybody else?
Cool. It's good to see you again, Roscoe. I'm happy you're here. We'll be here all week.
Your advisors have presented ideas
They
to you
do.
about tariffs and what to do in the next 2 days. Have you settled
Well,
on
you're
the
going to see, I've settled, actually a long time ago, but we talk about it. We talk about it a lot. And we want to do what's right for the country and even the world. It affects the world, not just this country. This has been the piggy bank for the entire world. So it really does affect the world, and that's important to me also. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. President, in the past, you have said that you want the quick return of Austin Tice, a Marine Corps veteran and a journalist who went missing in Syria over 12 years ago. Have efforts been made to locate Austin Tice been extended beyond Syria, including potential leads in Iran? And do you have plans to get in touch with Ms. Deborah Tice, the mother of Mr. Austin Tice? And also at the same time, organizations like Hostage Aid Worldwide have been on the ground in Syria, searching for Austin Tice for many years. Can I get your comment on the future, potential future plans to locate Austin Tice and to bring him home finally?
So we've been looking, as you know, for Austin for years. I don't know about Biden. I don't think Biden was looking for anything, but we were. And there's been virtually no sign, you know that. There's been no sign of Austin. An incredible young guy. Be less young now. I mean, it's been a long time. It's been many, many years. The mother is fantastic. She's a very committed mother that her whole life is to find her son who was in Syria and just disappeared off the face of the earth. So, a lot of bad things happen, but we're always, we will never, until we find out something definitive, one way or the other, we'll never stop looking for him. But we have been, and the response, it's just a lot of dead ends. He's been gone for a long time. The problem is there's never been a sighting. Sometimes you'll have somebody you're looking for him and there's a sighting. There's never been a sighting of Austin. But we are out there, and we have great respect for his family and for his mother. She's been unbelievable. Yeah,
President, a question about you've had outreach with the leaders of Russia and China. You've made an outreach to Iran. When are you going to plan to reach out to North Korea and Kim Jong-un? Anytime in the near future?
Well, I do. I have a very good relationship with Kim Jong-un. Now, you people hate to hear that, but it's very important. I got along with him fantastically, as you know. It started off very rough, very nasty. Little Rocket Man, the whole thing was a nasty deal. And then one day we got a call that they'd like to meet. We met. We have a great relationship. And we have, there is communication. Yeah.
The Rocket Man.
I think it's very important.
There's some Rocket Man
He's a big
activity.
nuclear
Yeah.
nation.
All right. Yeah.
And he's a very smart
See
guy.
where we at
Got to
here.
know
We
him
got
very
this.
well. Remember, I put my foot across the line and then I walked
We got
across
this.
the line. I don't know if Secret Service was thrilled with that. They actually
Oh, my
wasn't.
God.
They
Oh,
were not
yeah.
too thrilled. But
Respect the
I
strain.
have a very good relationship with him. Yeah, we'll
Trump
probably do
ain't
something at
afraid
some
of
point.
him.
Yeah, please.
Who's on your short list, Mr. President?
I was shocked when I
to
heard
replace
this
Stefanik
breaking
as
news.
U.S. Ambassador to the UN.
So we have a lot of good people that want it. First of all, Lisa's fantastic. And I just don't want to take chances where you guys saying, how is the election going? We have a congressional election that's a little bit close. I guess the one is in good shape, but the other one's a little bit close. But Randy Fine is a great guy. They're both good candidates. They're very good. But it's, a little bit, we want to be careful. And Elise is very popular in her district, and so am I. We won by a lot of points, and so did she. And there's a lot of people that wanted to run for it, but we have no idea are they going to win. I think it's just security. And I said, Elise, what about going back? Because they love you there, and she's going to take a big leadership position with Mike Johnson and the group, the speaker. And I can tell you that for the replacement, we have a lot of people that have asked about it and would like to do it. David Friedman, Rick Grinnell, and maybe 30 other people. Everyone loves that position. That's a star-making position.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So we'll see what happens. But
I'll do
we
it.
have a lot of people that are interested in going to the United Nations, as you can imagine. Yeah.
I'll go there and be like, hey, we're out. Hey,
favorite
you
song to
global
play while it's like- and
scumbag.
then my question for you, Mr.
Hey,
President.
you global scumbag. Guess who's here? Guess who's coming to dinner? Okay, first of all, we're gonna roll back all the bullshit. All right, that's done. You guys are nothing more than a fancy club for ideas, but no actionable items will come out of this organization ever again. I'm here to shut you down. So if you just want to have World Government Club here, you can, but nothing you say can or ever will be implemented, nor will you give any influence or pressure to any of the world activities going on. You will let countries settle their own disputes. You can only give advisories on a very superficial level. That's about it. So if you want to play club time, pretend time, you can keep coming here, or you can just go home, save your money.
Favorite rally you did last year, 2024? What was your
That's
favorite
what
one?
I would do.
Favorite song to play live?
Yeah, favorite song to play live.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Stop it. What a stupid question to ask. What are you, a fanboy? Is this the guy who thinks he's friends with Papa Roach? Oh, well, I was talking to Papa Roach earlier. Best friends. Yeah, sure you are. Yeah, for those you don't know, I used to be in the music industry then a long time ago. I don't do it anymore, so I don't bring it up. I don't act like I'm still some big music guy. All right. But at one time I was touring with some pretty big acts, and so I know the ins and outs of this stuff. And that's a sucky question. What's your favorite song to play live? The one right before I go home. That's my favorite song to play. If you ask someone like that question, that's what he's thinking. That's what he wanted to say. And I don't know. He still may say it. That's what he wanted to say. What's your favorite venue to play? The one right before the tour ends, right? Because that's when you get to go. These people are like, oh, you're living some fantasy that I can only imagine the way it is. And I'll just pretend like that's reality. No, it's a job. It really is. It's a tough job. It's rigorous when you have a big touring schedule. Luckily, he has a lot of people to do things for him. But for those who don't, it's load in, load out, just go to sleep, drive, get up, eat, go to sleep, drive more, talk, put out fires, talk more on the phone, put out fires, book more stuff. And it just never stops, right? When you're on the road, you gotta still do all that shit. So yeah, favorite song to play, last one of the tour. Favorite venue to play, last one of the tour, which was called the Crown, venue or whatever. That was the big one at the end, right?
It'd have to be one of the hits, probably Cowboy Ball with the Bar. There's a song that I've played every night that was never a singular hit that I probably should not say the words to in his office right now.
And then for you,
You've never met a certain
By the
person
way,
like
his
me.
rallies are amazing. He does great and gets big crowds. He's really a star when it comes to that. He is a very talented guy. I would say maybe Madison Square Garden, because anybody that was there, the owner of the garden, Jim Dolan, who's to me always been terrific. He said this. He's never said anything like it. We had. When you announce Madison Square Garden, it's a big arena, but we sell out big arenas. We sold out in Milwaukee. We sold out at every big arena. We never had empty seats. It's amazing. They talk
I was talking about his
gets 2,000
tour.
or 3,000 people.
That's what I'm talking about, his tour. Like when I was on tour with the during the rally tour, the Trump rally tour. Let's call it. Should we call it the Trump rally tour? We'll call it that. Yes, I was selling out every night, big arenas.
I
can
get
tell you him over here.
107,000 people
He's
in
like,
New Jersey.
right.
In Butler, PA,
You're a rock
we
star.
have over 100,000 the second time. We had 55,000 the first time. We have big crowds. I would say Madison Square Garden because I grew up in New York and the Garden is great.
That was a fun time.
Jim
We
Dolan
covered that.
treated us well,
Start to
but
finish.
everybody said that because I think I could have filled it up 10 times. We had hundreds of thousands of people that were stacked all the way back to the Hudson River and on the other direction back to Fifth Avenue.
I've been
Nobody's
to
ever seen. I don't mean with a line. I mean
2024 rallies.
50 deep, like 50 deep this way. The streets were closed.
Quite
The
an
whole thing. It was
exercise.
crazy. And when you take that, you want to do well at Madison Square Garden. You don't want to have
It's a
empty
different
seats.
scene.
But we could have sold it out, Brian, 10 times, and everybody knew it. And I think
Go.
we got a good indication that that's where the election was going. And we won every swing state, and we won by millions of votes. It was a great election. Yeah.
Mr. President, the U.S. military transferred 17 individuals to El Salvador overnight. Did you discuss with your team whether these deportations would run afoul of any recent court orders?
No, I do want to thank, however, the president. He has been
Talk more about
unbelievable
court orders
and,
tomorrow night.
In relation to us.
Are they
But I
constitutional?
think that our
Tune
people
in
have done an
find out.
incredible job. I got elected on the basis of getting
Your
bad
research.
people out of our
Yeah.
country that shouldn't be here.
Doesn't matter.
Very dangerous people
We'll hang out and talk
out of
about
our
it.
country. And that's what I did. And then you have a judge that wants to take over. And I can't imagine it can be allowed. If it was up to him, they'd all be put back in our country. These are killers. These are drug lords. These are really bad people. But I want to thank the president of El Salvador because he did he's done an amazing job. You saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Elon
been
Musk's
really good.
special government tenure is coming to an end, 130 days, I think another month.
Yeah.
Do you want him to stay longer, or is it time for him to go back to running his companies in Europe?
Well, I think he's in
6
amazing,
minutes.
but I also think he's got a big company to run. And so at some point he's going to be going back. He wants to.
You want to keep him around?
But I'd keep him as long as I could keep him. He's a very talented guy. I love very smart people. And he's very smart. And he's done a good job. Doge has, we found numbers that nobody can even believe, like 400 billion, 500 billion. It could be close to $1 trillion by the time they end on different things. And he's led the charge. And you've seen a lot of his people. And these are people that joined up. I would say they're high IQ people. I like high IQ people. And they've done a great job. No, at some point, Elon's going to want to go back to his company. I will say,
Find out where we're going next.
despite the way he's been treated. So he's an American patriot, but the way he's been treated with Tesla is just terrible. It's just terrible.
Once he goes
In fact,
back,
you have a Tesla, and you love it. He was saying before he bought a Tesla, he loved it. A lot of people are buying Teslas, I think, and I hope they are. He should not be treated that way. He's done an incredible service to our country.
once he goes back, is Doge going to keep operating even without Elon here?
Well, I can't tell you that. I can say this, that a lot of the people that are working with Doge are the secretaries, the heads of the various agencies, and they've learned a lot, and they're dealing with the Doge people. I think some of them may try and keep the Doge people with them, but, at a certain point, I think it will end. But they have also gotten a big education, and they're doing a really good job. There'll be a point at which the secretaries will be able to do this work and do it very, as we say, with a scalpel. And that's what we want. Yeah, Jeff?
Mr. President, have you had any updates on the U.S. soldiers missing in Lithuania?
I have.
Can you give us an update?
So 3 are no longer with us, and 1 is unfortunately probably in the same category, but they haven't declared that yet. It was a very heavy truck, like I told you, but I mean, really heavy, that lifted the heaviest equipment. And it would seem that the bank of a lake collapsed. The weight is so big. And it was at night, and it was very cold weather, and ice, a lot of ice. And it's possibly slipped, and the weight is so enormous of this thing. It's a massively heavy vehicle. And if they slipped a little bit, that's probably what happened, and it flipped. And 3 are gone, and 1 is missing.
On a separate topic, following up on immigration, did you see the video of the Tufts University student who was taken off the street by ICE agents last week in hoodies and masks? There's been a lot of criticism of that. Are you comfortable with how that was handled?
Well, I haven't really looked at it in any detail, but I will. I mean, I have seen it quickly, but not, I wouldn't want to comment on it. Yeah, please.
Yeah, Mr. President, would you be able to confirm recent reporting that you are making plans to go to Saudi Arabia next month? And if so, why is Saudi Arabia so important?
So I have a very good relationship with the Middle East. In fact, if you look at Michigan, I won the vote by a lot. People were a little surprised. And I have a very good relationship with Mohammed. And the
wrapping it up here in just a minute.
He's great.
And
Crown Prince, actually,
stick
he's
around.
Prime Minister too.
I'm looking for a place to send this next.
But
and
he's
be all
great.
right.
And the king has been wonderful. And if you remember, last time I went to Saudi Arabia, I put him first on the list because they agreed to buy $450 billion worth of American goods, military and otherwise. And they did. And it was an unbelievable day. It was in this gorgeous ballroom, and companies were there from many, probably 100 companies. And they were given anywhere from $40 or $50 million to less and more, actually. Okay, some of them were given numbers that were just many times that amount. I think we had a couple of $20 billion deals and big stuff. And it's a very rich country because of oil. And we are a very rich country ultimately when we straighten up because of oil. Oil is always good. And I agreed to do it again, and they've agreed to spend close to $1 trillion of money in our American companies, which to me means jobs. So they're going to spend hundreds of billions of dollars giving them to American companies that are going to be making equipment for Saudi Arabia and other places in the Middle East.
Yep.
And for that, I think it's worth it. I did it last time, 450 billion, and the press was there. It was one of the most unique days I've ever seen, where companies would get up and you're getting 20 billion. The name of the company, the chairman were all there, every chairman and top person in the company. You remember that, Peter? I don't know if you were there. You might be too young for that.
I was on the Democratic campaign trail.
Oh, that was boring. This was a much better day. But it was amazing, actually. It was an amazing day. We sold and we partook in $450 billion worth of investment into American companies. And they announced the company, the amount of money, $1 billion, $5 billion, $25 billion. And the chairman of the company, many of whom, well-known figures, prestigious figures, great business leaders, they went up took the hand of somebody and they would sit down, and we just had a big investment made. So it was a record. Nobody ever beat it before. $450 billion worth of jobs. I view it as jobs more than anything else. And now we're close to $1 trillion. So it's more than double the number that we did when I first came to office.
And this trip takes place next month.
It could be next month, maybe a little bit later, yeah. And we're going to Qatar also. And also we're going to possibly a couple of other countries. UAE is very important. It's a great leader in UAE. And I had his brother here the other night, if you saw that. We had a wonderful guy, a wonderful family. So we'll probably stop at UAE and Qatar, and as I used to call it, Qatar. Nobody's ever told me right or wrong. I always like to say Qatar, but it's Qatar. I like to say Qatar.
Get your guitar out.
And Saudi Arabia, the three of them, and then we'll go other places also. But
All
in
right,
the Middle East,
guys.
those seem to be
About there.
And again, a tremendous
30
amount
seconds.
of jobs will be created that in those 2 or 3 days. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Chris. Heading out that door right there.
Oh,
Thanks, guys.
President Trump,
Thanks,
you
guys.
have to sign
Thanks, guys.
about- Wait.
That was good. Okay, ready, everybody?
There we go.
You better do well with this. He's gonna do it, make sure everything is nice and clean, right, for your.
Make America fun
Because you're
again.
not in a clean industry.
Make America
Hold that
fun
up.
again. All right.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
There you have it. There you have it.
Everybody.
Look at this. I'll just show you this picture. We ain't gonna actually cover it, but right now or probably ever. But look at it. It's got a cheese head on. Elon holds town hall and he's got a cheese head on. All right, there you go. So I guess that was from a couple days ago. But yeah, I hope things turn out okay out there. It seems like it might have been an L for the day, but we're gonna get the W in the long run and in the end. And speaking of the end, here we are again. Our only friend, the end. This is it. This is the show. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. I'm going to redirect you to Good Logic tonight on both platforms, and that being YouTube and Rumble. And I'll say thank you so much to all the people who super chatted tonight, all the new faces in the crowd, all the people who support us on a monthly basis, and all the people who are here every night hanging out with us. Of course, the awesome mods that are out there taking care of all the platforms and doing the hard work and the heavy lifting. I appreciate you guys so much for all that you do. I'm gonna get on out of here. I'll be back tomorrow night at 7:45 or 8 p.m. Between those times, I'll be back. Depends on what show I do. I think for Liberation Day, I don't know. I just moved the Thursday stream up. We'll see. It just depends on the content and all. If I feel like it's enough value for you, I'll move it up to Wednesday. If I don't, I'll kick it back to Thursday. But I think the way it's working right now is we're probably doing winning tonight tomorrow night instead of Thursday night, and we'll move Unveiling Reality until it's ready to go. I might let that thing bake. I want to make sure it's just right. This show's got to be just right. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. As always, I'm going to get out of here. And until next time, stay based and keep on winning.
If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity and this is your villain origin story, if you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands.